and then I'll kind of hand it over to you, and we'll figure this out and just sort of lay out some ground rules. I don't really have any ground rules, to be honest, but just so we can keep this as productive as possible. Obviously, there's been some drama recently. I think that like Mr. Girl has been quite a controversial figure in the Twitch space. I don't think that's unfair to say, and there's lots of discussions about platform.
Wait, who is Max? And is that his name? It gives me red flags, you know.
Him, the merits of platforming him, the dangers of platforming him, and so on and so on and so on. I think that Merrick has been quite a vocal critic on Twitter in regards to this, and that has led to some friction between the two of you. So I just thought it would be good to get you two together and kind of have an open discussion and see where we go.
Yeah,
hoping
I have
it's
to
going
say
to be productive.
from the set, like from the outset, I don't like him, and I don't know how I feel about the platforming thing. Normally, I think like, okay, let's just watch the debate and then we'll form some thoughts. Yo, Necto Cat. I just want to say cat every time. Necto Cat. I'm still moving. Oh wait, no, I'm dead. Actually, no, I'm breathing.
Appreciate there might be some frustration. I'm happy for that to be aired, but if it goes too far off of the track, I'll bring it back round, okay? So I'll just interject if I feel things are getting
I might
too
actually have to start drinking just to get rid of the pain.
The track, so to speak. So yeah, but I want to keep it as open as possible and let you two kind of decide where the conversation goes. That's it really. What I'd say initially is probably easiest is if I throw it over to Merrick first, because I think you can maybe just introduce some of the contention and issues that you've got, and that allows Stardust to respond, and it should be quite a nice backwards and forwards from there. Okay.
Sure, that's fine. I guess the reason why we are here is that Stardust is upset that I took some screenshots of what people were saying in her chat during her interview with Mr. Girl, and that I was also sent some screenshots of things that her chat was saying during her, actually I wouldn't even say, yeah, I guess interview. So, you know, I was talking about how I don't really...
She got receipts, honey. Receipts! Sis was there, taking notes to present them. I appreciate that.
I think that this is someone that needs to be platformed. And I was explicitly asked by someone sort of incredulous at the idea that anyone thinks that he is anything other than reprehensible. So this was posited to me in kind of like a, you know, you're making a big deal about this. Everyone thinks he's very gross. No one thinks he has anything interesting to say. You're very much being hysterical and overreacting was kind of the implication. Especially because it was posited from someone who, anytime I tweet anything, they always have to challenge me and undermine me. So to this person, I was like, listen, I don't want to have a long...
You know who Mr. Gill reminds me of? Onision. So reminds me of him. And I don't know why. I think it's that creepy vibe. That really creepy vibe. Bad vibes for days. Allegedly, because I don't want to get sued.
Back and forth with you, so I found and was given some images of people talking about how awesome he is, how funny he is, how honest he is, and just how based and like super cool he is. So I blurred out all of the names of all of the people in the chat. And I was like, here, look, like this is, this is what's happening right now. This is kind of what people are saying about this person. This is a very warm, very, very positive reception. And I suppose Stardust took that as a very, very personal attack on her. She said that I was very creepy for doing this. And then
I didn't say very creepy, but no, I just said it was, I didn't take it that personally. I quote tweeted it. Yes, I did. And I said that it's a little bit creepy that you are taking screenshots of my chat, especially knowing that you're not looking at the interview while it's going on. So that's what's creepy to me.
I was watching the interview.
Okay. All right.
So
it's not creepy.
It does seem like this has kind of really upset you, especially because you also took the chance yesterday to take very personal jabs at me over the Steven thing.
Wait, what personal jabs did I take at you?
Well, he was very blatantly attacking me and talking, like, saying that I, like, don't have any integrity and I stand for nothing and this is what he thinks.
How does what he does reflect on me?
you commented and said, yeah, same here, I agree, when I'm the subject that's being discussed.
Right. And because of your screenshots, I've been dealing with like a bunch of people on Twitter. Now I can handle it.
Okay, no. You can't do that. You can't say that doing shitty things and commenting shitty things, you have to, like, with that, you take the onus that you will get pushback. That's what's gonna happen. You can't say, well, people are being like shitty to me now and are getting irritated that I said something and agreed with something that was a personal attack on Merrick. You can't be irked that, like, people are coming for you over that. Like, that's your own fault. Like, you literally chose to say same and comment back. Like, you knew that was going to bring some flack with it. You kind of have to bite the bullet. Like, expect that. That's kind of the baseline of whatever you do on Twitter. If you say some shit, then people are going to say shit back at you. Especially when you are a big streamer within the community who has a substantial following on Twitter. People are going to see, and you know people are going to see. And you know that it's going to be controversy and drama. So you can't, like, wash your hands of it as soon as you say something. Can you tell us who Mr. Lady is, my friend? Obviously, no, but needs a woman. I need a woman to explain. You know what? I'm not going to explain shit. He's very strange. He's a strange individual. That's all I'm going to say. He's a very strange individual. Very, very strange. A little bit suspicious. Just a fraction, a little gram of suspicion.
I've dealt with worse. But it's just a little bit hypocritical for you to sit there and say, oh, how could people engage in this kind of toxic mobbing and all of that when I am the subject of toxic mobbing right now?
Yeah, to your own tweet, because you did something bad. Like, no one set people on you. Like, you chose to tweet that. People just, I don't know did Merrick, like, blow this screenshot up and said, like, look, Stardust has commented about, like, basically approving of personal attacks on her. You can't really expect anything otherwise when you're in the community. That's the tea. Thank you for the follow, new person. Welcome.
I don't see how anything I did is negative towards you. I didn't say anything bad about you.
Okay. You think he's playing a character? No, you can't play a character of being a bit noncy. That's not an acceptable thing to do. That's it. That ain't it. Like, that's not comedy. And this is, like, literally when people used to say the N-word and then say it's just a prank, bro. Like, you can't say really fucked up shit or, like, excuse fucked up behavior and then be like, it was just a joke, lol. Like, you can't do that. That's not how it works. Like, if you're a piece of shit, you're a piece of shit. And there is many, shock humor is like the lowest form of wit. It's not sarcasm, it's shock humor. It requires very little effort. Fair enough, like, the dude's clearly trying to be controversial, but it's just like, I'm not gonna, like, say, oh, well, yeah, he's a bit noncy, but at least he's, like, consistently a bit noncy. Like, it's nice to see that he's very thorough in his beliefs. Like, no, you're just really that's fucked. That's fucked up. That's where I draw the line. I'm not going to applaud you for doing something and being consistent.
I don't actually.
You screenshotted my chat, which I don't know. I don't know how you can interpret that in any other way.
I don't actually think that you having him on is the end of the world. I don't think it makes you a bad person. I didn't say anything negative about you. I don't really think that what you did was all that bad. I don't think that you've necessarily even looked into a lot of his chat. I didn't shit talk you. I haven't encouraged anyone to shit talk you. I didn't see anyone on my end shit talking you. So this does seem to be anytime I check Twitter, I can't keep track of the notifications at this point. Which is fine. Again, I can handle it. I just think it's hypocritical for you to be saying that mobbing is so bad, and yet you are here screenshotting my chat, tweeting out and complaining about my chat, whether you say that that's personal or not. It seems a little bit personal. And
I mean, that's fine. If it just own up to it. That's all.
I have not seen any negativity directed at you. I haven't seen it on my end. If you do have things that you know come from people that follow me or are in my community or came from that post, I would very much like you to send it to me. But I don't really think that this is really the point, because I'm more than happy to tell people not to say anything to you, to apologize to you. If things did come from people who I surround myself with, then I do apologize to you, because...
Oh yeah, I got waves of harassment from your screenshots.
Yo, Remy, take care, okay? Have a good one. Thank you so much for the bits. I really appreciate it.
Pleased to see everyone is vibing.
Okay.
Good luck with the stream. It was very clearly
not my intent. I never said anything negative about you. I really don't think that you doing this is the end of the world. Time and time
like
and
at
time
the end
again,
of the day, like this Mr. Girl person, not the hill to die on. Like, really not worth it. Like, genuinely, there are so many political issues or political people that you can do whatever, like, but this person, really, that's like the hill you want to die on? Is it worth it?
Vocal about, like, if someone is doing an action we don't like, we don't attack
you
that
can
person.
Use any amount of
we talk
bits,
about the action, and we talk about ideas. So I've gone really above and beyond, time and time again. Like, over the past year. Yes, ma'am, I have. So I've gone over and above time and time again over the past year to talk about how if we have a problem with something, we talk about what the problem is. So if there are people that you can show me that came from my community or came from my chat, I would love for you to privately DM me that, because I would like to personally handle that. I don't think you deserve to be mobbed, but I do think that there is a conversation that we do need to have about whether it's okay to platform this person. So I don't think that it's okay to say that I'm sending mobs to harass you when I'm saying it's not okay to platform this person, because that's a valid discussion to have, and it's an okay thing that I have a problem with. It's completely okay that I have a problem with that. And
yeah, of course. You can have a problem. You can have a problem with who I platform.
Then why are you saying I'm sending mobs of harassment to you and I'm hypocritical?
You are sending. Okay, so maybe that was not your intention. Whether you intend it or not, that is what you actually inflict upon other people when you screenshot a chat and you start commenting about, look at all these people in Stardust chat who are being affectionate and all of this to him.
I don't think Merrick's tweet was that bad. I feel like she was literally just publicly criticizing someone, which is fine. Like, that's not harassment. Harassment would be if she was doing it over and over and over again, and she was deliberately doing it where she was calling Stardust names and making, like, very hyperbolic and personal, which isn't what this was. This was a legitimate criticism about platforming, responsible platforming. So I don't see an issue, and I don't see the hypocrisy in it. As opposed to when Destiny was like actually like fully going after Merrick and using personal attacks, and then Stardust commented on those posts saying same. Like, that like that's a personal attack. So it's not the same thing.
What do you think that the response is going to be when you have, how many followers do you have on Twitter? 36K or something? And I'm like a 5K person?
No, that's not even close.
Okay, what is it then?
I think I have like 13 or something.
Okay, like 13K. Okay, still 13K. You've got a lot of followers, a lot of engagement on Twitter. You must know this. And when you tweet out a bunch of screenshots of my chat, and I'm not aware if you're even participating in the chat or if you're even participating in watching the interview, then yes, people. First off, for me, that feels a little weird. I mean, it is what it is. It's the internet. But then, yes, whether you intend to or not, that sends mobs up my way. Now, again, I don't care. I don't give a fuck. I've dealt with worse. But I still think... Wait.
Listen. Obviously, you do care, or you wouldn't be talking about it. And you don't need to, like, pretend that you don't give a shit, because you've mentioned it about 5 times now. Like, obviously, you're pressed, and I would be pressed too. But that doesn't, you shouldn't lie and say you don't care, because, I mean, you wouldn't be talking if that was the issue.
I'm not finished. I'm not finished, okay? Why would you make this assertion about how mobbing is so bad, it's so horrible that this person got mobbed, when you, on a what it seems like a daily basis, do things that inflict mobs upon other people?
I do this on a daily basis?
I mean, that's what it seems like.
Why does it seem that way?
I am not the first person that I've seen you do this with, where you call somebody out publicly.
Who are the other?
I mean, what about Hans?
Do you understand the situation that happened with Hans? Would you like to tell us?
I don't really care about the situation with Hans. I don't really care about every situation.
No. You can't say that. I don't know what the thing is, but that seems kind of pertinent as to whether it would be valid for Merrick to call Hans out publicly or otherwise. That's very, very important and relevant to the conversation. So that needs to be said. You can't, like, say this is a bad thing if you're not clarifying as to why it's a bad thing. And what if the reaction is bad, then we need to know what they're reacting to. Because the reaction, like, the reaction may be valid.
That happens with you, but it's every day with you. I'm pretty sure it's every day with you. And it's fine. I just do what you want on the internet. Just don't complain about it.
So you're making an accusation, and I would like you to substantiate it.
Substantiate it? Okay. Give me a second here.
So you don't actually know the details then? You have to look it up?
No. I can provide screenshots if you'd like, but I don't have everything. I don't have everything in front of me.
Okay, so I would like you to talk through the situation with Hans, and you can show me afterwards.
Okay, yeah. So from what I can tell is Hans and Celine had some back and forth on Twitter, and I do believe that you called him out, and he seems to think that you think he's a misogynist.
So here's what happened. Hans and Celine have had a long back and forth that I don't really know much about. I don't see Celine's tweets, and I haven't really seen a lot of Hans going back and forth with her. So what I did see was someone telling Hans, hey, I don't really think it was okay that you held the $300 over Celine's head. This is a trans teenage girl. And he said, I don't care what you think because—
Is she a teenager?
Yes. So a trans teenage girl, he said, your opinion is worth as much to me as you as a person. So, like, you're worthless. He basically said, you are worthless to me as a person. And 11 hours go by and this is still up. And I was like, hey, Hans, this is really awful to say to someone. I don't think that this is the way to go about it. So he responds negatively. And I realized very quickly, him privately.
I have to say, Hans is hands down, and you can quote me on this, the messiest person on Twitch politics. So messy on Twitter. Like, the messiest of mess. I don't know why you would die on the hill of defending Hans's tweets. Like, the man's, like, off the deep end. For no reason. Half the time. It's just like— it's like a cycle where he's like, I don't want to get involved with the drama. I'm like above the drama, guys. Like, no drama here. And then he's like rage typing away, like fucking wildin' out for days on end. And then he's back to being like, I'm just above the drama. Like, Twitch politics, I don't know you. Like, I don't see you. Like, I'm above you. And then he goes back to fucking typing away angrily. Like, jeez. Oh, Kitty's asleep. I will give you 2 seconds of kitty time because we kind of need to watch the debate, unfortunately. Hello. Oh, she's snarling at me. No, the kitty. You checked in with the kitty. Yeah, you can't really start a nice arc if you don't apologize for being a dick. That's not how it works.
And then he tells me to fuck off and proceeds to send a million messages about how I'm a horrible person, I'm a piece of shit, he fucking hates me, I need to do this, that, and the other, I needed to have read about everything for me to go, hey, I think this is a little bit over the line, and then try to privately speak to him in private.
First off, She's not a teenager. She's 24, from what I remember. Second off, she's 24. From what I can tell, I don't know. From what I remember, maybe she's 20 at the most. But I remember her bio saying 24.
I'm 19 years old.
I'm sorry?
I'm under the impression that she's 19 years old.
Okay, either way, this is somebody who has harassed multiple...
Just made it up, baby. Both sides there. Just made it up. Think I remember this being in a bio. I think I'm under the impression she's 19. If you don't know, don't make a comment on the age, because we don't fucking know.
Multiple people, not just Hans.
Ashley has harassed multiple.
Can you get me a 10-inch margarita, please?
10-inch margarita.
Thank you. Getting the pizza order in, guys. We're gonna get the pizza on the go. My dad will be paying for this. It's a great time to be alive.
Cherry is one of them. Cherry is one of them. She's harassed RGR. She's harassed RGR's significant other. She has I'm sorry.
Talking about Celine or Ashley?
Yes,
right?
Celine.
You're talking about Celine. So I'm talking about Ashley. I didn't endorse anything that happened with Celine. Celine probably said some shit that wasn't okay. I didn't say anything about his interactions with Celine.
Okay. All right. Fine.
So I don't think me going, hey, it's probably really bad for you to continue this toxic, angry cycle and lash out at people. It's not good for you internally. It's not good optically. It's really just not good to tell people that they don't have worth as human beings. I don't think that you get to say that I'm sending a mob on people.
At the end of the day, like, the best, just don't be a dick. That's just my general rule on Twitter, is don't be deliberately an asshole. And... listen, I've like popped off on here and like I've been pissed off about things, and like there is a lot of drama that I've been involved in behind the scenes that never makes it to the light of day, and I don't talk about it publicly. I keep my shit private and I sort things directly unless they need to be sorted publicly and or the other person has made it public and then or they want to address it publicly. Then I will talk to them publicly. But for the vast majority of the time, I keep everything private. And I'm not like running my mouth to people on Twitter. Like, you don't need to be doing that. You just get on with yourself. That's what you've got to do. If you've got issues with people, like, and if you're above the drama, you don't have to be tweeting shit, like angry shit, or like fucking going after someone. Like, just leave it. Like, just leave it. What's the point? What does it ever achieve to be just like slating someone and telling people to fuck off on Twitter? Like, just drop it. I would not want to build a platform on that kind of reactionary basis. Like, I just would rather build much slower, but a much healthier community where we're not all at each other's throats, and we can just kind of like my tweets are pretty boring, you know? Like, most of the time, I'm just tweeting dumb shit. Alexa, Happy New Year to you too. And Yo Zero, I haven't seen him forever. Like, my tweets are just dumb. Okay? Like, this is me in my Victoria's Secret pajamas. Okay? I'm going through the princess arc. Manifesting some good shit for the next year. When Drake said, I've been losing friends and finding peace, honestly, that sounded like a fair trade to me. I'm taking that energy into 2022. I was enjoying it. Dealing with some shit. The car trauma, like posting pictures of my aunt's dog. These important issues, they're the things I want to put on Twitter, you know? Like, I don't need to be putting on, like, just fuck you, you dumb bitch, fuck. Like, I see things, don't get me wrong, okay? I see things on Twitter that piss me the fuck off, but I drop it, I leave it. I don't talk about it. What's the point? I'm not going to put my energy into that. Like, you are just causing grief for yourself. it serves nothing. It doesn't resolve a conflict. It doesn't make you feel any better. You just walk away from the situation with a shitload of notifications. And like, listen, if you want to get clout from that and you want to get bag from that kind of like toxic behavior, you do that. But know that it won't last, and know that it'll only come back to haunt you in the form of karma, and in the form of like you'll develop a really toxic community that won't last. They won't stick around. As soon as you chill out, or as soon as there's no drama to be had, they will fuck off. They will not give a shit. So it ain't worth building a platform on that. It is simply just, it ain't worth it. And yeah, like, I just leave it. Whenever I see shit, I leave it. I don't start beef. And I'm not talking directly about Hans here. I'm talking about people that do all this shit in public. Because it ain't worth it. I'll do any other things, Zero, after, but we got to watch the debate.
Well, because I was like, hey, this probably isn't a good idea, and
you post to my Discord. I'll have a look.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, sure. But then there are plenty of other examples. You've, liked tweets that are directly harassing other content creators. I mean, I just don't think, I still think it's hypocritical. I still think it's hypocritical.
Ooh, have I liked tweets harassing other creators?
Do you want me to name every single one?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's so many, you can name a few. If there's that many, you can name a few.
Sit here and say that I'm this huge crybaby that's harassing people all the time. You should absolutely substantiate those things. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Let me just go through the entire history of your entire Twitter history, because that's what I do.
You're making really serious accusations. So yes, I think you should be able to at least...
Do you think the accusation of pedophilia is serious?
I've never accused him of being a pedophile, so
okay, then why is he such a bad person?
Then good. This is the conversation I would like to get into. Thank you. So,
wait, that was a weird take. Like, he can only be a bad person if he's a pedophile. But if he hasn't done pedophilia, he's an okay human being. That's true.
Here's the deal. I didn't come here today to tell you that I think he's a pedophile. I've watched a lot of what he's had to say, and I don't think that he's exclusively attracted to children. Now, we know that he has said on multiple occasions that he is attracted to, I believe he said in the Reddit thread that he was attracted to everyone 12 years old and up, and that he stands by that.
That was a joke. That was a joke.
Okay,
if you look at the context of it, it's a joke, yeah.
Guys, it was
on
just,
Twitter today,
it was just a prank, bro. It was just a joke.
He was saying that he stands by it. So, I don't think that it's okay to make jokes like that, for one.
Stands by the joke, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
He didn't say that it was a joke. So, I don't think it's okay to make jokes like that. I don't think it's okay to say things like that. He has told us explicitly in the Cuties video that he was attracted to the 11-year-olds in some context.
That's definitely not
he has said that he
nonsense.
believes that everyone is
normal,
sort of attracted
normal
to
thing
children
to say
in some way or another. I think that that's like a really harmful thing to say. He says this in his video, "Ugh, pedophiles are sick and evil." He claims that everyone is slightly attracted to children, and it's a scale. So I think that, saying things like this doesn't mean that he's exclusively attracted to children, but I do think that these are really problematic things. So I didn't come here to say, oh, he's a pedophile, and I certainly don't think that he's hurt children. I don't believe that there's any evidence of that. I don't want like the takeaway from any of this to be that I think that or that I'm accusing him of that, because I think that that would be really unethical and wrong, right? So I think my takeaway is that he has a lot of really, really bad takes about consent that I think are pretty dangerous. And I also think that he's a really, really awful, completely incompetent advocate for the thing that he claims to care about a lot. And I also care about this a lot. I do think that instead of saying, oh, we should...
I just want to say I really admire the way that, like, Merrick lays out her argument here. She does it where she's pushing back against what Stardust is saying. And obviously Stardust is kind of making accusations in regards to her, like, Merrick harassing people and things like that. And she doesn't react to it, like, and get upset about it or angry. She calmly asks for evidence and for some kind of way to back up and substantiate her claims, which is really, really refreshing, as somebody already said in chat. It is extremely refreshing in this space. And yeah, she's kind of, and when she's interrupted, she's not getting like pissed off and shouting over Stardust. She's just being like, I'll let you finish what you're going to say, and then I'm going to continue. And I'm going to push back against anything you levy at me, which is a really, really good way to construct and kind of give more substance to your arguments. So, I admit it.
Should give pedophiles the bullet. I think that's really fucking problematic. Like, when people talk about killing pedophiles or locking them up forever, or they're just...
Can you tell me his takes on consent that you seem to disagree with?
Sure. So he has a video called An Uncomfortable Interview with a Feminist, and I have pulled all of the quotes and the timestamps. I have also...
What a legend.
I've also clipped it all. So,
jeez.
There's one particular
Sis really came. Sis was like, you know what? It was like Christmas for her, right? It's like she kept all the receipts. So if people wanted to return the presents, they could. She has kept all the receipts. So if people asked for them, she's got them. Like, she's got them at the fucking ready. They're in her pocket, you know? She's like taking a bloody handbag with her, and it's just full of receipts, just everywhere. Fucking live for it.
That I think is pretty inappropriate and pretty damning.
Good evening.
He tells the story about how he technically rapes the woman, but because he assumed that when she said no, she meant yes, and then they continued to have sex afterwards, it's not really that...
Yes, I saw this. Oh my god, I saw that. I saw that on Twitter, and I was like, are people seriously dying on this? People are dying on this hill for him. Like, he's literally admitting to rape. He's admitting to it. He's admitting to raping someone. Like, you can't tell me there's nuance and be like, guys, let's just intellectualize rape. Like, that's essentially what this comes down to. It's like, should we just intellectualize and deliberately misplace somebody's what's the word I'm looking for? I need to not reach out when I'm thinking, because otherwise I can't concentrate. Like, you can't oh my god, my train of thought. You can't like argue that is justifiable and say that it's context. I don't know if people just were like really that willing to go down with this ship, but I don't understand how you can see these receipts and then be like, oh, well, it was just a joke, lol, or it was just a prank. Like, rape jokes aren't funny. And if he's just joking, by the way, that's still fucked. And that still makes him shitty. So maybe it's less offensive, of course, if he's just joking about having raped someone. But if he's actually raped someone, like, they're both bad. So why would you, like, die on the hill? It don't make no sense.
Not really rape in his mind. It's not like a bad rape.
I'll never.
Oh my god, I shit myself at that transition.
Like, oh, I was just so horny, I had to do that. Mm-hmm. That's never been me. But it felt like, something about the way she was looking at me gave me the sense that it was like a game, and that's what I was supposed to do.
I feel like from my end, consent checking in.
Right. Yeah. So it was definitely technically rape. Like, for sure. But she reacted really well to it. And
okay, no, it's not. No, I know we're not doing that. We're not saying it's rape because it's not rape because she enjoyed it. Are we fucking there? Are we literally there? This is the guy you want to defend. Him. Are you fucking mugging me?
You know, we talked more afterward. I also sent her the video. And she didn't press charges, although she still could if you change your mind.
But
why is he like goading? Like goading there? That's fucking disgusting. If that's not true, by the way, and that's just like, oh, it's just a prank, bro, like another joke, it's just another character's playing, then like that's still really fucked up, okay? And by the way, there will be people who watch that, very easily influenced people, that will take that away and think, well, I don't need explicit consent. I can go off like some implicit signals, and as long as they enjoy it, then it's fine, and I didn't do any harm. No, that's fucked. And to platform somebody who's said shit like that, which is extremely dangerous to women and probably men too, like, holy shit, just don't stand by him. He's a fucking piece of shit.
43 minutes and 5 seconds, he says... Oh, I'm sorry. Let's start at 42 minutes and 14 seconds. He says, even if you think you don't want to have sex, there's probably always a part of you that does.
There are times when people say no, but mean yes. There are times where people say yes, but mean no. And even if you think you want to have sex, there's always part of you that probably doesn't. And even if you think you don't want to have sex, there's always part of you that probably does.
At 43 minutes and 5 seconds, he says, I just met that woman 2 hours earlier, so I was definitely rolling the dice.
Yes, the idea that I was putting forth is that consent, it was called Consent is Complicated. Just the idea that a simple yes or no, legally is fine. Right. But interpersonally, if you're humanistically, if you have empathy for another person, just because they said yes doesn't mean that they necessarily want to have sex with you on balance. If you can get someone to say yes.
What a load of absolute shite. I've never heard such twaddle, such dribble in my entire life. What the fuck is he talking about empathy and humanism when he's excusing rape as being, well, I was just rolling a dice, guys, to see if it would be rape or not. Like, I was just guessing. And yet was technically I did rape them, but like also they enjoyed it. Like, but you know, I'm just such a humanist with such big, I have like huge amounts of empathy for other people. Like, I'm an empath. Shut the fuck up, dude. Fuck you.
You're legally covered, but ethically and psychologically, you're not really, and you're not really effort covered. And just because someone says no, especially if you know them better, I just met that woman like 2 hours earlier, so I definitely was rolling the dice. But if you know someone well...
Imagine actually saying that. Imagine saying that you were rolling a dice on raping a woman. I just don't know what to... Some girls love... No, okay, that's not the same thing. There is like non-consent, what's it called? Like consented roleplay. That happens when you're in a fucking, like, you're in a very healthy relationship and those terms are agreed before you have sex. It's not rolling the dice to see if someone enjoys being violated or not. If a partner expresses to you that they're into that and then you guys both are comfortable with trying it, and you consensual non-consent, thank you, then you are consenting to that action happening, to you having sex then. And even then you have like safe words to get out of it to say this is actually going over the line and I'm not comfortable, and then that has to be respected or that consent has been removed. Like, it's not the same thing. They are worlds apart.
People say no all the time and don't mean it.
So, in consent culture...
Yeah, so it's an anti-consent culture video.
At 43 minutes and 19 seconds, he says, yeah, so it's an anti-consent culture video. And then at 43 minutes and 38 seconds, he says... Oh, wait, I didn't put the actual timestamp for this. So he's talking to the feminist that he's interviewing, and she says, but... that's what I'm saying. In consent culture, no is always no, unless you've negotiated. And then he cuts her off, and he says, yeah, I know. And then they both kind of, like, really awkwardly are like, but at each other. So that fills up a couple of seconds. And then she kind of, like, sympathetically leans in, and she's like, but, you know, it's hard to end. Like, it's hard to kind of stop yourself, essentially. And he looks at her, and he goes, no, but it's boring. And she says... you know, he can see that she's really hesitant. So he goes, listen, this video was for people who already understand consent. And then she goes, well, is boring worth assaulting someone? She says this at 44 minutes and 10 seconds, and he immediately responds, yes. I mean, that's, to me, yes. That's the thing. You have to trade safety for excitement.
No is always no unless you've negotiated, unless you specifically
Yeah. I know.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like
I know, but
it's hard and
that's boring.
I understand.
Okay.
You agree?
See you later. Are you fucking mugging me clean off? Are you having my fucking life? He was the hill to die on. This geezer. This fucking lad here. This twat was the hill to die on. No, I didn't say it's horrible to talk about this. The issue isn't even... The issue is that he's fucking done it. That he admitted to it. This Mr. Girl person. Like, he's literally saying that he would happily trade fucking... I can't, actually. Like, I literally can't. It's alright that he could have raped someone, because otherwise he was going to be bored, so he doesn't want to be bored. God bloody forbid. It'd be sad if he was bored. That would be awful. I'm not gonna video game myself or anybody else, okay? Because that would be ridiculous. This is ridiculous. This is insane. I can't believe that people are trying to make out like this guy's guys, you just need some context, guys. Like, he's just like, it's just like very intellectual and deep, and you wouldn't get it because you don't understand nuance. Verbatim what he's saying. He's verbatim saying this shit. Like, he's saying it himself. What more context do I need to get? He's fucking saying it.
No.
You think that's exciting?
I couldn't give a fuck. I don't want to rape somebody. How about that?
Okay, so again,
thank you for the follow.
Isn't for people.
Guys, if you are new around here, please do follow. I really appreciate it. If you can afford to, please do subscribe. Any little helps. It's very fun. You can also use your Twitch. You got your Amazon Prime subscription, which is free. You can give it to me for a month. I'll look after it. Take it away from Jeff. Alternatively, if you want to, and I have text-to-speech on, you can donate. And if you donate over £5, text-to-speech donations are on. And whatever the hell you want to say, it will be said on my channel. However, don't say anything against TOS, because that would be very annoying. And I'd probably get done. So please don't do that.
Who have never said no. Right? It's for people who understand the consent culture thing. And it's saying like that, even that, like, okay,
is boring worth assaulting someone?
Yes. I mean, that's, to me, yes, that's the thing. Like,
this is against
Thank
dose.
You for the bid.
This is against dose. This is against dose.
It's exciting.
This is against dose.
The first time
this is against dose. This is against dose.
Really bad.
This is against
can I explain
dose.
to you why I think
this is against
really
dose.
Yeah.
This is against dose.
So to me, this is really
against
bad.
dose.
And I mean, we can just look at the statements on the surface, right?
Opinion on horse cock. Okay, Bosh.
There's always a part of you, even if you think you don't want to have sex, there's always a part of you, probably always a part of you that does. I don't think that it's okay to assume this about other people. I don't think that that's a mindset that it's okay to let yourself get into. And then he says, I just met that woman 2 hours earlier, so I was definitely rolling the dice. So we're talking about a situation where she...
Do you know the entire story of that woman?
I'm about to tell it. So we're talking about a situation where she was sitting on top of him. They met on Tinder. She was sitting on top of him. And she says, no, I'm not ready. And he said that from the look in her eye, his interpretation was that she wanted him to ignore that and just go for it. So then he says, I just met that woman 2 hours earlier, so I was definitely rolling the dice. So to me, this is really scary that you don't know someone at all, and you're in a situation where if you do a certain action, you are going to sexually assault them. And you are completely
Great. Guys, we are close to a hype train. If you guys want to try and get us there, any little support helps. You can gift subs, you can do whatever you want. You can give bits. You can subscribe yourself. Do whatever you want to do. Go wild.
The dice for that person that you met
out next
2
month,
hours
You know
earlier.
that she was completely naked and he was already partly inside her when that happened, right?
So the story that he tells the feminist doesn't match up with
Mistress
what
April,
you just
how's
said.
it going?
Okay, so yes.
And then the story you told on your stream, I don't believe matches with that as well either.
He was from what I remember, they were both naked. She was on top of him.
Yo,
and
listen up, here's a story about a little guy that lives in a blue world, and all day and all night and everything he sees is just blue, like him inside and outside blue. His house with a blue little window and a blue Corvette, and everything is blue for him and himself and everybody around, cause he ain't got
like the voiceover, so I have no clue how long this takes for the guy to say, like, for it to be read out. So I'm just like, I don't know. Hashtag why are men? Very true. Very true. But thank you so much for cheering. I appreciate it. The bits, always appreciate it.
And he was just barely in, I guess.
Okay.
We're no strangers to love, you know the rules, and so do I. Have full commitments. What I'm thinking of, you wouldn't get this from any other guy. I just want to tell you how I'm feeling. Gotta make you understand. Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you, never gonna make you cry, never gonna say goodbye, never.
Let's get the pizza. Oh, I'm feeling so hungry. I'm not even gonna lie. I can't talk right now. I'm doing fat girl shit. Are we just posting lyrics in chat now? What the hell is going on with the donations? Jesus. You can have pizza, that £1 million a slice. Yeah, he needs to stop, exactly. This is so bad of a look. Like, it ain't it. Yeah, I feel like I am getting rickrolled by bits, which is funny, because it's like, I'm grateful for it, but like, also, I have no clue what's going on with my audio, so I can't hear it, and it's probably just like spam. Yeah. Okay, let's continue watching. Any subs? Any gifted subs? Any donations to Streamlabs? Appreciate any support.
Yes, a little bit. And she said, I'm sorry, what did you say?
So actually someone in your chat summarized it. Someone in your chat said he was about to enter her, but he hadn't yet. And he actually on your stream reads that comment and agrees with it and says, yes, that was what happened.
Okay, well, either way, they're both naked, right? Okay. She is on top of him, and she says, I'm not ready yet.
Gen X cat boy, I feel it.
They continue anyways.
So
right?
he makes the decision for them to continue anyway.
Yeah, and sometimes in whether you want to acknowledge it or not, and sometimes in sexual relations,
you for the anonymous
people will rely on the other person to make the first step.
Sure, I don't think that this is okay to do with a Tinder date that you just met 2 hours earlier and you haven't talked about any of this with. I think
See, here's the thing. Like she wanted to. She indicated interest in meeting up with him later. But I mean, like the thing is, like regardless of all of that, it's not really my place to say to pass judgment and say like, hey, dude, like unless it's like very clearly rape to me, it's really not my business to like be like, oh, well, you were both completely naked, but you should have still waited, even though she was like directly on top of you. That's none of my business. Like he's telling a story, and I don't think I have enough context. I don't have enough info to really tell whether he had the right to do that. If he in that situation decided to do that, then that's on him, right?
Oh my god.
He then goes on to say,
y'all, you got me wildin' out here. These gifted subs. Okay, feel free, people, to just gift sub shit to the whole song. That's what you should do, okay? That would be petty, but also like A, hilarious, and B, financially beneficial for me. So it's a win-win for me, you know?
Say, yes, it's an anti-consent culture video. And he says, let's see, consent is boring. She says, is boring worth assaulting someone? And he states, yes. I mean, to me, yes, that's the thing. You have to trade safety for excitement. So
I think it's kind
You're
of funny.
talking away. I don't know what
God.
I'm to say.
Bruh.
I'll say it
Claims
anyway.
to
Today's
us.
another day to find you shying away. I'll be coming for your love, okay? Take
I
on
am
me.
not doing
Take on
this.
me. Take me on. Take on me. I'll be gone in a day or two, so
Hype
needless
train,
to say
baby.
I'm odds and ends, but I'll...
Thank you so much for the bits. Thank you for the gifted subs. I appreciate the support, my friends. I appreciate it. We're at the level 2 shit now. And thank you for the follow.
We're going to rely
Taking a huge caca, which is how I feel after watching this debate.
on his word here that this woman had a great time and that she called him afterwards. So let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's say that she said no, but she meant yes. So then they had a great time. Okay, so in that situation, that worked out for him. He took the chance of sexually assaulting someone and it worked out for him. Now, he's also made statements where he said...
Are you really calling that sexual assault?
No, you're not letting me get to my point. You're not... I'm trying to explain this to you.
Okay, but you said like he's okay with sexually assaulting people or something like that. I don't know that I would call that specific situation sexual assault.
Okay. So what I said to you is he is okay with taking the chance of potentially sexually assaulting someone.
Which is what he admitted to doing.
So he says this himself.
He said he rolled the dice.
Yes, I mean, to me, that's the thing. You have to trade safety for excitement. In a direct response to the question, is boring worth assaulting someone? So let's say in this situation, everything happened the way he said it did. That's great, okay? Good. I'm very glad he didn't sexually assault that woman. We should give him the benefit of the doubt because that's the way he's telling us this story. Now, the underlying mentality that exists there is what I have the problem with. I don't think that you need to go on YouTube and talk about how you're anti-consent culture. I don't think that you need to go on YouTube and say that, like, yeah, I maybe raped someone, and the way that I operate, because he's also said this other times before where he felt that other women in other sexual situations he were in were looking at him in a way where, based on the body language or the look or whatever, that they wanted him to either rape them or take them right there without like it being talked about. So yeah, maybe sometimes you're going to read that situation correctly, right? So I think that's perfectly valid, but like, especially if you know someone really well and you've talked about how like no means, when I say no in this way, we're doing some consensual non-consent. That's a kink, right? Consensual non-consent is a kink. And in the BDSM community, you do a lot of communicating, you talk things out beforehand, you figure out what it is that the person wants. You do safe, sane, consensual, I think is the mantra that they have. So when you're out there with random
I'm thinking the same thing. What the hell is consent culture?
and you're
Just what
not really
basic human
talking about how
decency
you
and
understand
respecting boundaries.
safe, sane, and
God
consensual,
fucking forbid.
and you're going on YouTube and you're not delivering the message of like, hey, you need to communicate with people. Hey, it's not okay to roll the dice and maybe sexually assault someone because yes, I mean, that's, to me, yes, that's the thing. You have to trade safety for excitement. See, I don't think that you do trade safety for excitement. I don't think that that's okay. And you know what? You actually
Merrick
might be able to have a relationship with someone where they go, here, I'm into consensual non-consent and this is how we can do it, right? Like if you see that I'm having a bad day, maybe we don't do it. If I give you this sign, maybe we do it. If you touch me and I responded this way, maybe we do it. Maybe you surprise me. But I don't think that it's okay to set this standard for people that you haven't really thoroughly talked this out with. So can I tell you a really, really quick story? Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
So when I was 13 years old, I had a relationship with a man who was 20. And I didn't know that that was wrong. So we were in his house. And
yeah, the yield,
I was in his bed.
Yield, it was just a prank bro defense.
and he asked me if I wanted to do something. Now, I thought he was asking me if I wanted to do a completely different thing because I misheard him. So before I knew it, he was taking my virginity. And I said no. And he said, you know, you just said yes. And I didn't know any better, and I froze up, and I got really scared. And I continued to date that person for 6 months after that. So I don't think when you sit here and say it's okay to roll the dice, it's okay to roll the dice. And I don't think that for personal reasons, and I also don't think that because you're taking a risk that I think is inherently very selfish and has the potential to be extraordinarily damaging. And then you're going on YouTube and you're not putting any of these qualifiers around it, and you're putting out videos where you act like that's just okay. And
honestly, I feel like anybody who says they're a really empathic person are always the ones that are the worst types of people, because no one else would say that shit. Like, no one's like I'm just so empathetic. Like, if you're empathetic, you're empathetic. You don't need to tell people you're empathetic. You just have to show people empathy. The dude doesn't. The dude just talks about him having a humanistic approach to the world and having empathy for other people. Well, clearly you don't have empathy because you preferred your excitement over the risk of violating another human being. So I'm going to go ahead and say that you don't have fucking empathy. That's it. The book is closed on that one. Like, you're not going to fucking win me over on that.
You don't know who's watching your videos. You don't know if teenage boys are watching your videos. You don't know if really, like, people who are in a very weird mental space are watching your videos. You don't know if people who have bad intentions are watching your videos, who can then point to your videos afterwards and go, well, see, consent is just really complicated. So I think that you open up this horrible can of worms when you want to normalize anti-consent culture practices.
So I have a couple of questions with this. Have you looked at any of his other videos on rape?
I've watched almost all of his YouTube videos, I think, actually.
Okay, cool. So then you would know that there are times when you are in a situation where you say yes out of coercion, right?
Sure, I think that that's a thing. Yeah, he has a really great video. Have you watched the one where it's why are women afraid to say no?
I do. I think I did watch that one briefly. Yeah.
I thought that was really great. I actually was really, really surprised at the way that he managed to touch on that topic and to, I thought, handle it with a level of insight that I don't think is present in a lot of his other videos. I think that one was actually really good.
Okay, so you think that one was good, but that other videos were bad enough to justify having an issue with him being platformed?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think the vast majority of your content
How is that hard to comprehend? What, someone who's like the worst type of person having like some good takes? Like, what? You can agree, like, you will cross over with almost everyone on the planet Earth about one thing. Like, one or two things. That's, like, almost always going to happen. That doesn't mean you want to platform them, because they might have some really odious ideas that are very dangerous and harmful to other people. Oh yeah, by the way, guys, this is a stream to reach 100k. 100k, Jesus. 1k, so any like hostings, any support of any kind, any, you know, posting my link on your socials, I appreciate all of it. It would be brilliant, okay?
Not messaging properly when you
don't murderers donating to charity,
care,
great people, we should
when
platform
you
them.
Spread, you know, misinformation, when you talk about things that are very much above your pay grade, and when you handle most of your videos very poorly. I don't think one or two is enough for an entire community of lefty streamers to decide that they need to boost you in platform.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you can be right on vaccines. It doesn't mean that, like, it's okay all the racism and other shit he did. Like, bro. Exactly. Luna, do you want food? Right, I'll keep this playing. I'm gonna run downstairs very quickly, get some cat food for the cats. Well, you wouldn't get cat food for me because it's cat food.
I do actually want to talk about his views on pedophilia, if you're okay with that.
Well, I feel like we're here's the thing, like, I feel like we're not really having a conversation here. If this is a conversation about platforming him and about his views, certainly, like, we should be doing that, but I'm really not here to sit through and go line by line on every one of his videos. What I'm here to do is talk in general about why you have a problem with me platforming him and why you seem to think that you're not somehow complicit in the same type of mobbing that you're claiming to be against, right? I have, again, I have no problem with what you do. Just be honest about it. But I'm really not here to go line by line in every video. So if you have a problem with his views on consent, we can talk about that. I think the overall view on consent is he's just basically saying it is complicated. And I don't find a problem with that because it is complicated. There are plenty of people who say yes, who give consent, who are still raped, right? And there are plenty of people who don't give consent, at least verbally, and are, I guess technically you would call them raped, but they might think differently. Also, I would say, what is the difference between me platforming him and other content creators like Vosh and like Destiny?
I think Vosh should have
platforming.
I don't think Vosh should have had him on. I think Vosh made a mistake. I think Vosh needed to have done his homework, and he didn't do it. After Vosh had Mel on, I really think that should have kind of been a turning point where he went, why don't we look?
Jeez. Okay, I ran downstairs, but I'm back. Give me 1 minute. You know what I'm going to do? We're going to do something risky. Do you know what that risky thing is? We're going to... Oh my god, I'm so out of breath. That's bad. That's not good, being out of breath from that. That's embarrassing, actually. I'm appalled at my own lack of fitness. How many followers am I on now? You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna pull in the normies. I'm gonna post on my Facebook. I'm gonna get people on my Facebook to follow. Oh no, 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 no. Oh my god. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Why have I got that music in my head? Like, literally, it's not my birthday, so. Oh no, did I close it? Oh no, I didn't. Thank God. Well, thank God.
Think about what's going to happen when we platform these people. And yeah, I've been pretty vocal about the fact that I don't
World
think
of Warcraft people, I'm sure we'll have a lot of crossover.
Okay, fair enough.
So okay, you feel like I'm trying to get into the nitty-gritty details of why I have a problem with him, and you don't want to get into the details. You want to focus on the big ideas, correct?
I don't think you're trying to get into the nitty-gritty. I just think I find it very boring to go line by line in every video. I would rather talk.
No. Okay, you can't say that. Like, the dude's essentially admitting to rape. I don't think you can say, well, I was bored, so I didn't pay attention. It was boring to me. Like, if you're gonna defend someone, you gotta know what they said. Like, word for fucking word. If people are quoting them, it ain't worth it. Like, I don't understand. I swear to God, I don't understand. Like, that's such a weird get out of jail free card, ironically. Like, to just be like, well, it was boring, so I didn't pay attention to it. Well, if you're defending something, you need to pay attention to it.
About the actual views that you find problematic being platformed. And I would rather just talk about why you seem to have a problem with platforming. I personally am not a believer in deplatforming. I think it's bullshit. People are going to find an audience no matter what. And I think that I do enough homework and I do enough on my end to make sure that platforming is fine. So.
So, let's see. I think that his views on consent are very dangerous because he does not go into enough caveats of, like, you need to make sure that this is okay with people. I think he's okay with just kind of willy-nilly trying to read the body language of anyone as long as you've known them for long enough, and that
I don't think he's ever said that, though.
I hate that term.
He explicitly states, I knew her for 2 hours, so I was rolling the dice.
Is he saying, though, that anybody can go and find somebody, and if their body language indicates that they want it, then they want it?
I don't think
he's saying that. I think for you to read into that actually is like kind of you're kind of coming to a conclusion that's not really there, right?
Listen, she can platform whoever she wants. No one can stop her from doing that. But you have to deal with the consequences of your actions. And if you platform someone who is an awful human being and deserves every criticism under the sun, be prepared to face backlash. You can't do things and get off scot-free. Like, at the end of the day, you knew it was a high risk and you thought it would be a high reward because it's great drama. But, like, you've got to take the fucking L with it too. Like, you've got to accept that the bad shit is going to come and get you and bite you in the fucking arse.
I don't think that someone has to explicitly say something for that to be the message that comes off from the overall.
Okay. So why is it his responsibility then, when he's talking about a personal story, to determine that, oh, this is the message that's going to get out, right? I mean, I could say, like, I like vanilla ice cream. I don't like chocolate ice cream, and somebody could take some crazy conclusion from that. Am I responsible for their crazy conclusion?
Talking about ice cream, we're talking about rape.
Right, so, we're talking about rape. We're talking about a situation in which he and the person he was with had, you said they met 2 hours before, and yes, they did, but they seem to have known each other well enough that they were comfortable enough with each other to engage in that activity. So I don't see why his personal story anyways, I don't see why his personal story needs to be, like, accountable for every single bad interpretation that somebody might have over it.
It's not actually a bad interpretation that I have. He actually says consent culture is boring and that you have to trade safety for excitement.
Exactly.
So this is my problem. He explicitly says this. He says this at 44 minutes and 10 seconds. And I know you
said that before. I think it's boring too.
Okay, so you're not.
I think it's funny. I think it's a joke. But I mean, I honestly, like, it is boring. And honestly, I think we need to have a more nuanced conversation about it.
Right, you're not letting me explain.
Well, you explained for, like, how long? For, like, 10 minutes before?
Right, so I mean, I guess you're just not engaging with my points then. You're like, well, why does his personal story have to matter? But the thing is, the content that you put out ripples throughout. People see that, right? So there's a whole large meta conversation that we're all having. Everyone who gets online and talks about consent culture, what they say...
This is the point Merrick was trying to make, and the reason why she posted the screenshots from chat. Because what this comes down to is the reactions to the platforming and the consequences of the platforming. And if Merrick was able to substantiate the claim that there will be positive reactions to this guy if he's platformed, and that's exactly what happened, and that has an effect. So she's right.
Then becomes part of the, like, society-wide conversation that we're having. So I have a problem when the messages that you put out into that society-wide conversation we're having are that you think that we need to trade safety for excitement, and that it's okay that you rolled the dice with someone that you had just met, because then you influence other people to perform similar actions because you're.
I don't think that's his intent, though. Does it?
It doesn't matter, though.
You didn't care what my intent was.
Yeah.
You made the argument earlier. No, hold on. You need to listen to me right now, because you just made the argument earlier that regardless of my intent, my actions by screenshotting your chat had a negative effect on you. So right here, right now, I don't think he's an evil person, but his intent does not have any bearing on whether this piece of media will influence other people to
Merrick
say that
is like, you know, fucking, this is so bad for Stardust. Like, Merrick's fully like, she's rocking her world, you know? I'm shocked. Merrick
is a boss.
An incredible debater. I haven't seen her in a while. I haven't seen her debate in a while, but she can fucking hold her own. She can cite things. She keeps receipts. She's fucking... Sis is on it. Even in my hungover state, I can see Sis is on the fucking ball.
You know what? Maybe I don't need to check in very much. Maybe I can roll the dice. That's dangerous.
Okay.
Welcome.
So what I'm going to say to you is, again, I don't give a fuck what you do on Twitter because I've dealt with worse. And I said before that, wait a minute. Okay. I said before that you can do whatever you want. If you want to send a mob after me, I don't give a fuck. I'm just saying, don't be a hypocrite about it when you talk about it. Okay. That's all I'm going to say is don't be a hypocrite about what you say and what you do. Okay. When you say, oh, mobbing is so bad, but you actually engage in it. Secondly, I would say that when it comes to these conversations, personal things, and his personal opinion, I don't think necessarily him having a conversation about what consent is and whether consent is really the measure we need to be using, like verbal consent is the measure that we should be using.
Look at Merrick's face. If looks could kill. Look at that. She's like... She's so done with people's bullshit. She's like, this one acrylic, I'm keeping it held to my head and I'm massaging out the tension headache I'm getting from running around in circles. But if you look into my eyes, you can see the fury that lies beneath.
The time. He's had plenty of discussions about friends who've been raped. He's had plenty of discussions on his channel about other dodgy areas of sexual interaction, and I think that is his thing. His thing is having these nuanced conversations. I don't think that's a bad thing. You can take away whatever message you want from it, but again, anybody can take any message away from it. I could take away the message that, I don't know.
The guy explicitly said he's trading safety for excitement. He's willing to gamble. He's literally saying verbatim that he's willing to gamble consent for excitement. Like, what did you think people would take away from that? What do you think's the overwhelming message being taken away from that? Like... You know, it's too much. Let me take this pizza downstairs.
I can come up with something crazy, but I just feel like first off, why I should be able to platform who I want to, especially if I'm engaging in a nuanced conversation with them, which I believe I did. And I stand by, I think that interview is one of the best interviews I have ever done. I think it's one of the best pieces of content on my channel. And I don't regret it, and I never will regret it. His views on pedophilia may be uncomfortable, may be very, problematic for some people. But for me, I think that he is having, a nuanced conversation with people. The predator is not going to be the creepy, skeezy guy who's in the alley. It's going to be somebody you know, right? There's going to, if we look at predators as this stranger, this foreign person, we're not going to be effective in actually combating child predators. We need to know who they are, right? We need to realize that they can literally be anybody. They could be your dad. They could be your uncle. They could be your brother. They could be your friend. They can be somebody that you really trusted, right? And they can still be a predator. So I think maybe he's not the best at optics, but I think that he's having very important conversations.
Merrick has been on Hippy Dippy before, and I remember because John Berg was on, and like that gave me some fucking the McTow vibes I get off him and how he spoke to Merrick. Like I was like, bruh.
Conversations, and I really value those.
It was a yikesy conversation.
That he needs to be, I don't know. I haven't looked into any of the studies or any of the evidence about whether deplatforming works or not. So I'm not willing to get on here and say, oh, we need to deplatform him, because like fully and completely off of YouTube, because I just haven't done the reading. So I don't think that it would be responsible for me to make a claim about that.
Oh my god. This is like not only bringing receipts, not only bringing like good debate skills, but she's also bringing the ability to admit she doesn't know some things. And that, I tip my fedora and my beanie both at the same time, because so many people just run their mouth and say shit and talk out of their asshole when they have no fucking clue what they're talking about. And it takes courage to admit you're ignorant on a topic.
On YouTube. Now, I do have a problem with him basically being given a media tour throughout the left Twitch sphere, because, again, I do think he is a very, very, very bad, incompetent advocate. You said that he's having nuanced conversations, but I don't think that there's anything nuanced about simply saying that consent culture bores you. I think that if in that interview...
I thought this whole thing was about platforming, about me platforming him. Like, that was your whole issue, right? You were screaming...
Wait, how is Merrick involved in the no comment chick versus Dylan Bims? Wait, can you recap that? Because I'm confused about what happened there. What did she do again? I know she has like folders on people, but what did she actually say?
Screenshotting my chat while I had him on my show, right? So then what is the problem if it's not about me platforming him?
Deplatforming? So deplatforming would be like completely taking him off all of the internet.
So maybe I used the wrong word. However, everything that I said before still stands with me platforming him specifically. So why should I specifically not platform him when I think that I'm having a valuable conversation with him?
I was trying to get into that. So you say that he's having these nuanced conversations that are very important, but I don't think that the conversation...
That kind of take kind of reminds me of Jordan Peterson. Like, he's just saying that, like, the gender pay gap, like, men and women get paid the exact same in a role. Like, find a job where men and women are paid the same. Like, we're just having conversations. Like, Dave Rubin, like, we want to have, like, a debate in the area, like, the arena, the debate arena, whatever. I don't even know what he says. He chats so much shit. It's actually messed up my brain. Like, we want to talk about ideas. Yeah, I think he did a little bit more than talk about ideas, though. I think he talked about literally raping somebody, so it's a bit more than just an idea. He's literally talking about something he did. So,
He's having are nuanced. I don't think that at all, actually. I think it's very much the opposite. So I think that when you have a video on your channel where you talk about how you find consent culture to be boring and how you rolled the dice with someone and that you could have potentially assaulted and you just did it. But then you don't talk about like, yeah, I think a lot of people have this feeling that, you know, the lines are very
Is that not the point of me interviewing him? Is it? Is that not the point of me interviewing him? Like, how am I responsible for every single video that he puts out when I'm having an interview with him and I'm having a nuanced conversation with him? It's me and him having a nuanced conversation.
Can I please finish a point?
No, because you're not addressing my question.
I will be addressing
you were not addressing it. You were still going back to the same video, which has nothing to do with me specifically platforming him and me specifically having a nuanced conversation about rape and about incest and about abuse with him.
Okay, it seems like we just maybe reaching a bit of an impasse here, because it feels like Merrick, you want to talk a bit about maybe some of the videos that he's done and some of the concerns you've got there, and it seems like Stardust, you want to focus more so on
yes, because the initial conflict was over me platforming him and her screenshotting my chat while I was interviewing him. It's not about his YouTube channel. It was about specifically me platforming him.
Platforming him is bad is because of the videos, partially because of the videos that are on his YouTube channel.
If I have him on my show and he elaborates on them with me, is that not meaningful?
When you have him on and you drive a lot of subscribers to him, it's going to boost him in the algorithm, and it's going to have a bunch of people.
Oh my god, there's so much noise. Can you send me a link to that stream? Like, I'm not going to watch it on stream, but I just want to, like, know what you're talking about, because I can't remember this. I'm intrigued as to what stream this was. If you've got I don't know if you've got, like, the VOD or whatever. It exists anywhere, but...
People who didn't watch your interviews with him find him and find his content. So this is what I was trying to build the foundation up to talk into.
Right. And he has way more YouTube subscribers than I do. I highly doubt that my
that's exactly
interviewing him is going to have that much effect on him. He's as far as like content creators go, he's much bigger than me. So if anything, he's platforming me. So
you are normalizing having him doing the rounds through Lefty Twitch.
I'm not even part of Lefty Twitch. You guys don't consider me part of Lefty Twitch. I'm liberal. Like, what are you talking about?
I'm using Lefty in the American sense because I'm in America, because we're talking to all kinds of audiences right now. So I'm using the broad general term.
Okay, I don't care about Lefty Twitch, okay? This is just virtue signaling. Wait.
This is not virtue signaling. That's not virtue signaling, though. Like, I would consider Stardust part of Lefty Twitch. And I know that you are kind of thinking about, like, communists and socialists as left, but I'm talking about anybody to the left of center is essentially what I would consider leftist Twitch, or like left wing Twitch. And I would definitely, part of this is the right, exactly. That's kind of what I think they were saying, because like she's not right wing. I don't think anyone would consider that. I wouldn't even consider her like a centrist. I would say she's like a liberal, but I'll have a look at my my whispers in a bit. Yo, Templix, how's it going? Imagine being a communist. I know, fucking cringe! Listen, as a liberal on this site, I consider myself part of leftist Twitch. And I'm a fucking lib. So Stardust is definitely part of it too. Sorry sis, we're in this together.
On my platform, first off, Lefty Twitch never gave a fuck about me, so I don't give a fuck about them, okay? Secondly, I have the right to have any...
I don't understand that, like, Lefty Twitch never gave a shit about me, so why should I care about them? Like, most of her... Like, I imagine a large portion of her audience has been built up because I remember the first time I saw her was on a Prime panel, and I think I've seen her, like, a lot on Prime panels, and that was how I, like, got to know her, was because she would be on, and then I'd wake up and go on, and she would be going to bed at that time. So I feel like I imagine she has a lot of crossover, her audience does, with a lot of left-wing creators that are probably more to the left of her. I would argue that most of her audience is probably to the left of centre. However, I don't know that for sure, so I'm not going to talk out of my arse, but I will say that she's definitely built like a lot of kind of backing off these sort of left-wing debates. So, there you go.
Anybody that I want on my channel, I will have a
And anyway, like, Twitch politics in general is quite left-leaning. Like, there's not many right-wing creators within the space. I can think of, like, Rob Knorr, Sprout, but he's away at the minute. Tiberius, but he's sort of centre. I was gonna say Connor Points, but he debates on Twitch, but he doesn't have a Twitch account, I don't think. But yeah, like I would consider that CTV, obviously, yeah. Like besides those few though, like there's not, compared to the amount of people, I mean, as you see, like in these debates, it's often liberals fighting with leftists. So it's very much to the left of centre. That's where the debate usually comes about. I mean, even here, I mean, like Stardust is a liberal, and I think Merrick is like a leftist, a socialist, got communist from what I remember. But, like you get like yeah, like it's just very left leaning anyway, and I think it's a bit silly to say that that audience doesn't care about you, because they're the kind of the ones that built you up, one would argue.
With them, and I think it's a little bit disrespectful that you would think that me having him on my channel and the fact that people liked him in my chat is somehow an indicator of us having an irresponsible conversation. I mean, you yourself even liked one of his videos on the YouTube, right? So again, I think it's disrespectful. I think that it's honestly a little bit misogynistic, the amount of hate that I'm getting for this in comparison.
Okay, I can't. Oh my god, no, just stop, please. Oh, Jesus. Jesus, take the wheel. Take the wheel and drive fast, please, Jesus. I'm begging you. With all the strength bestowed upon me. You cannot play the misogyny card when you're like rooting for a dude. Oh, Happy New Year. You're rooting for a dude who admitted to raping someone, who admitted to wanting to put excitement over consent. You can't play the misogyny card based on that, okay? That's some bullshit. You can't do that. That's wrong. No, we will not be doing that. We will not be doing it. No. The piece is cancelled. I will not allow this. I've had enough now, all right? Listen, I'm sick of it. This is such bull. Are you not embarrassed? Like, seriously, bro. Fucking hell, that is too much. I just cannot. No. I would argue that supporting somebody who admitted to rape is a little bit more misogynistic than, I don't know, copping some shit. And also, you just said about 50 times you don't care about copping shit for it, but you've complained throughout this debate about copping shit for your bad positions. Well, it's one or the other, sis, so you gotta hurry up and pick. Like, you can't sit on the fence on that shit. Like, either you care or you don't. And by the way, there is no shame in admitting you care if you get hate. I fucking hate when I get hate. I hate when people hate raid me. I hate when people say shit to me on Twitter. It hurts my feelings. Fucking admit it. Like, just say it's shitty. It's not fun. Being harassed isn't fun. And, like, I don't like that shit no matter whose point is whose. However, if you say something and you support someone being verbally harassed, like Destiny did to Merrick, and you co-sponsor that shit by replying and saying true, then don't be pressed when the same shit happens to you. Like, what did you expect? Unfortunately, the way Twitter works, people will see that and people will give you shit for it because you're wrong for doing so. Does that make their actions any less shitty? No. But what did you expect? And it's absolutely right that people have backlash when you're supporting somebody this toxic and potentially dangerous. And I take no apologies in saying that. I think that is messed up. And I like Stardust as a person. Like, I really don't have an issue with her generally speaking, but that's some bullshit. And, like, you have to own your position. I don't know why you would die on this hill. It is so not worth it. Like, there are so many better people on hills. They can be the hills that you die on. Not this guy. This guy is a piece of shit, okay? And his points and his prescriptions for society are bullshit. They're all fucking toxic as fuck. I don't understand how you can actually say that when Merrick is pointing out to you the fact that your chat reacted positively and said they like that guy and indicated that they're probably going to watch more content by him, are not going to be influenced by his message more because it's co-sponsored by you. You know that's exactly what's going to happen, because that's exactly why we platform people. It's to spread their message. Unless you like challenge them and like really have it out with them, then you are essentially platforming them to give their ideas to your audience. And that's it. Like, that's my fucking take. And I'm happy to die on this hill because I know I'm right. I know I'm right on this one. Okay, it was fucked up to platform him. I mean, if you want to platform him, which you are free to do, by the way, you have to take the bullshit that comes with that and the repercussions of that, which is going to be bullshit from other communities because they're not going to like that shit. He's a horrible human being. You knew it was controversial. You knew it was going to get clicks. You knew it was going to get views, and you knew it was going to make you some more bag. And if you want to come up like that, like, do it. But don't complain about the shit you'll inevitably cop, because people are going to be very angry about that. It's a very emotive topic. So I don't agree with harassment. I really don't. And when shit's personal, that's fucked up, and I don't like that. However, getting backlash for a position you're taking is not harassment. That is not. As long as it's about the position you're taking, that's fine. And like, that's to be expected. Okay, that's rant over.
To other male creators, and I think that I think it's bullshit. I think it's bullshit.
Okay, so here's the deal. Whether you think that you're part of lefty and liberal Twitch or not doesn't matter. And you're saying that your small contribution does not have an effect on all of the people who exist in lefty and liberal Twitch, seeing a bunch of people having him on and normalizing that, when earlier
what's a bunch of people to you?
Hunter Avalon is going to have him on now. Hans was talking about having him on. Destiny had him on.
How many people have had him on, period, right now?
I believe, from what I know so far, it's Vosh, Destiny, and you.
Exactly.
Right?
Three people.
You can't let me make a point.
Well, why? Because you're not. You're not.
Let's. Okay, Merrick, finish your point, and then.
I don't have a point, and cutting me off and telling me I don't have
point.
One.
You really don't.
Listening.
I am listening. You drone on for so long. It's so boring. I'm sorry. It's so boring.
Right. Let's just bring it down a bit.
Just saying, it just seems like she knows she's lost the argument, so like she's just deferring to, oh, it's boring. It's boring, so I don't want to read it. I don't care. It's boring. It's boring, so I'm not going to engage. I mean, if it's so boring, don't agree to the debate. It would be the obvious thing, but...
Okay, let's bring the temperature down. Okay.
And you know what, Chad? I have a problem with you too, actually.
Why? What's that?
Yeah, I have a problem with you too. Because you have the nerve. You have the fucking nerve to question me about my interview without even watching it. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Why?
Hey? Well, I just thought it'd be good content.
Okay. That's it.
I mean, well, I don't think I was that harsh on you about it, was I?
Well, I don't care if you're harsh on me. You don't have the respect to actually look at my fucking content before you question me on it.
I didn't have time to watch it, unfortunately, before we spoke.
All right. Maybe you should have watched it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we could speak on that, but obviously, you know, we're not here to debate right now.
Okay.
You know it's gone tits up when you've got to start debating the moderator because you know you've lost so badly to the opponent.
Appreciate the honesty.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, Merrick, what are you saying?
Okay, so I find a lot of the content on his YouTube to be very objectionable. I think that you drive traffic to it, and I think that you make it seem more...
Do we have him on if we react to this debate about him? Is this us platforming him? The thing is, there is responsible platforming, and then there's irresponsible platforming. And if you, just sit by, like Dave Rubin, for example... Like, if you do a Dave Rubin and you just let someone talk and spread their ideas and you don't challenge them on it, then you're essentially just giving them free promo to your audience. However, if you get on there and like Vosh did, like actually debate the dude and like get pissed off and get angry at him and prove that he's a fucking idiot. I don't know if Vosh did that bit, but if you push back and hold somebody to account for their statements and positions, then that's not like irresponsible. That's like that your audience isn't going to walk away from that and think that guy was really smart, let me go look some more content and support him further. Like they're going to be like, that guy was a fucking clown, his ideas are stupid and he couldn't substantiate any of them, which means the positions themselves are stupid, which is what you want people to think. If you think a person is a piece of shit and you want to platform them because you want to have it out with them, that's what you want.
Normal and acceptable for other people to have him on and debate him, because
are we conservatives now?
Okay, I don't think that he's a good advocate, and I think that when you have him on and you don't bring up that he's a good advocate and your chat loves him, that drives a lot of people to his channel. And not just you, but you're a piece of the puzzle. Now, earlier you told me that I was just a piece of the puzzle and I needed to own that. So now I'm telling you, you are a piece of the puzzle, and I think it's not good. And I think that right now in this moment,
like it here.
That. If you think
sure,
that what
I will own that. I'm a piece of the puzzle, but I don't find his content objectionable. I think that he's a good content creator. I think that his videos are great. I think they're excellent quality. I think he explores topics in a very uncomfortable way, and I think it makes people scared, and I think that's a good thing. So yeah, I will always own up to it. And you know what? I will continue to own up to that interview being one of the best pieces of content that I've made on my channel.
So let's talk about your interview with him then. So he says at one point, he's talking about people who roofie other people. He says that, let's see, I just need to get her to loosen up. I need to get her to the point where she wants to have sex, which is obviously completely rape. That's not murky to me at all. But in the mind of the rapist, imagine, I don't know. I imagine, I don't know. I've never talked to someone who roofied someone before. So I don't know, but my guess is that they rationalize it somehow. So he said this, and on its face, I don't think that it's bad. I think it's good that he says, yes, this is obviously rape. But then he talks about the intentions of rapists, and you don't really push back on that. And then he says, even when it's violent, it's helpful for us to step into what that person was thinking. So it's like,
I think it is.
Oh my God, can I please finish a point? Please.
I don't understand like what the contention is here.
You're not letting me tell you what the contention is.
Okay, tell me. Okay.
Jesus. Okay. So I think it's good that he acknowledges that that's rape. That's very good that he says that. But then this is sort of indicative of this pattern that follows throughout his entire conversation with you, where it's just this conjecture that he brings up. I think that this is harmful.
Yeah, he's just a sick man.
I don't know. I've never talked to someone who roofied someone before, but my guess is that they rationalize it. And then he says, even when it's violent, it's helpful for us to step into what that person is thinking. So I can see where he's trying to come at this from, but it's this pattern of conjecture. He brings it up again when he says, being sexually attracted to your child on some level, I don't think is that weird. And you did push back against that, and that was good. But then he goes into this weird math game with you where he tries to get you to say how many people are sexually attracted to their children, and you just guess a number. It's like 10 to 15%, or people who sexually molest their children, I believe. And then you guess 10 to 15%. And then he goes, okay, but how many people outside of that are actually attracted to their children and are not molesting them? And you go, well, it's probably 10% of people that have sexual feelings towards sexual attraction towards their kids that actually act on it. And then you guys have this long conversation about how, wow, a lot of people are actually probably sexually attracted to their children. So my problem
is made it a baby.
It shouldn't matter. My problem.
Well, it does matter because, I feel like whenever you're going on a point, it's not really a point. It's just continue. It's like a run-on sentence.
1 in 10 people abuse their kids. Like, bruh.
When you talk about this sort of really serious thing with this level of flippancy and conjecture, I think that this is really harmful because
I don't think it's harmful. If I can explain my point of view on this, I think him stepping into the mind of a rapist actually makes a lot of sense to me. I think when a lot of people, and now this is not everybody, but a lot of people who experience trauma want to understand why and how that person who inflicted that trauma upon them came to that, right? I don't think that's necessarily a harmful thing. I don't see why it's wrong for him to say, if we think about somebody who roofies somebody, or if we think about from the perspective of even what's his name, the gymnast coach, not coach, the gymnast, yes,
didn't have to walk too far to do that. Exactly.
I don't think that there's necessarily harm in trying to figure out why people think the way that they do, right? I think that that's an integral part of trying to solve a problem.
This is a pattern that exists across the conversations he has with creators and the content that he makes on his YouTube, of just conjecture. And when you're just conjecturing things about a really serious topic that destroys people's lives and impacts children permanently and forever, I think that's a marker of extraordinarily incompetent advocacy. So there actually is information about the number of people who molest children.
Merrick is fucking incredible. Like, she's a fucking brilliant debater. She should debate more. Like, she should really debate more, because I don't see enough of her. But she's really good at sticking to her core arguments, making them, and making them very well. I think it can be quite hard when, this is a very kind of, it's a frustrating debate, because they're going around in circles and Stardust is not really engaging. She's just saying it's kind of boring, which is not really an argument. So I imagine it's very frustrating if you keep getting interrupted to just hear that it's boring. Then I would slightly lose my will to live, but props to Merrick.
Who report as being pedophiles. There's all kinds of actual information that I actually went out and collected about this, but he didn't reference any of it on your stream. And you didn't push back to any of it. You guys had this whole back and forth about how 150% of people, and then you said, no, wait, you wanted to change it from 15 to 10.
He did the math wrong there. I wasn't going to, it was just like a casual conversation.
Yeah,
I wasn't going to get into,
these are not things
specifically.
These are not things.
Wait, we were just okay.
Let's let us make a point. Let's let us make a point, and then respond.
Definitely not a bad idea.
Okay.
To make it up.
I don't think that us having a conversation about this and maybe speculating on some of the stuff.
Yeah, he miscalculated the speculation. That's what it was. He just guessed. He made it up.
From our own perspective and putting ourselves in other people's shoes is necessarily a bad thing. I understand that there are real stats about this, and I have looked up some of the stats, though I can't remember all of them off the top of my head. But I still do not think that there needs to be this, when we're having an informal conversation, that this needs to be this level of precision.
A serial killer, if you're interviewing a serial killer, I'm assuming they've been caught for their actions and they're, facing the repercussions, whether that's life behind bars or the death penalty. They're already fucked, and it's pretty evident that there's been consequences for their actions. The issue is here, you're talking freely about a topic where you are straying into the line of committing a crime, rape, and you're essentially getting away with it because you think there's nuance in it. And it's a get out of jail free card, whereas I don't know how to explain that very well, but there's no consequences. You're not stating or directly showing the consequences of the actions of the ideology you spread. Whereas a serial killer, as they're behind bars, I would fucking hope they were if you're interviewing them. You might get a backstory as to why they've done X, Y, and Z. But the interviewer is going to be A, trained to hold them to account, B, trained to get all the gory fucking details of everything they did, which was really fucked up, C, show the victims' families usually, and D, is able to, as they're behind bars, be shown that there were consequences for those actions and that those actions are morally reprehensible and legally reprehensible. So that's the very 4 key differences, I would say. Here's the worst debater. That's a good one. Rob Knorr gives me a headache, so I'm going to go with him. He sounds as if he's going to have go into cardiac arrest, and it gives me secondhand anxiety.
You're asking from me. When we're having an informal conversation, we're both talking from the point of view from trauma, and we're both trying to step into the space of what the predator is thinking, and where their brain is at, I don't think there's any way to engage in that without it being at least, some speculation. There's no way to engage in that without it being some speculation. Yes, the math thingy was silly, and it's whatever. But I did push back on him saying that it might be normal, though I don't think it's necessarily him saying something necessarily problematic in that situation. I disagree with it. I disagree with it, this idea of it being normal to have some sort of attraction to your children. But the reason that he's bringing that up is, his own experience, and maybe he's trying to understand it from his own experience, right? His own point of view. I think that if we try, it's again just trying to understand why somebody would inflict that on somebody else.
Speaks about this with an air of authority, and then he spreads misinformation. Do you remember what
What's an air of authority? What do you mean by air of authority?
The manner in which he speaks. So
how do you determine when somebody's speaking with an air of authority?
When I don't know something, I say, when I'm going to talk about it, I preface it with, listen, I don't know about this. I'm not going to guess. Like when I said, I didn't come here to say that he's a pedophile because I don't think he is. When I said, I don't understand the studies about deplatforming, I haven't read them yet, so I'm not here to make a firm claim about it, right? So I'm not speaking with authority about deplatforming because I understand that I don't know very much about this. He doesn't.
Do you think saying I think is? Do you think that saying I think is speaking with authority, or it's just saying I think?
I think it's his tone of voice. I think it's that he doesn't talk about how he doesn't know what he's talking about. I think it's that he makes statements and claims that he's acting like our true.
Yeah, she does seem disinterested, but the problem is, you can't be disinterested in this. This directly involves you. I mean, you've been called out and you've agreed to a debate on whether this was responsible or otherwise. You've got to be ready for that. And you could, if you were genuinely disinterested, you could just say, no, I'm not going to debate it. Here's my position. I'm sticking by this. I don't want to talk about it anymore. And then you would drop it. But if you then want to go on and defend it in a debate, you can't, when you're challenged on that, turn around and be kind of flippant and say, oh, this is boring. No, this is not the time to be bored. You're being held to account for something. You have to really engage with that criticism, okay?
True. I think there's a lot of things that we can look at with this, but the most important thing here is that he went on your stream and he said that if you had studied psychology, you would know that the Oedipus complex is actually very normal. It's not that weird. Well, this is not true. It's been pretty thoroughly debunked, the idea.
Okay, as a psychology, I've got a first degree in psychology, and let me tell you, the Oedipus complex is fucking weird, okay? The Lil Han study, fucking weird, mate. I don't know what the leap was. I'm very skeptical about psychoanalysis on its own, but Freudian psychoanalysis I'm even fucking more skeptical of. And there is a lot of data out there that backs the idea that it's bollocks. So just saying, take from that as you will. We've moved on very much since the days of relying on that kind of psychological approach. We now tend to do the cognitive behavioral shit, okay?
That this is normal. There's very, very little evidence to indicate that this actually exists in real life. If you would like, I can tell you the studies that I have.
I actually know. I am aware that the Oedipus complex is not really a thing. However, I think that it's important to remember that he was last in college. He's 36. He was last in college more than a decade ago. So
listen, okay, no. No, a decade ago we weren't accepting the fucking Oedipus complex. A decade ago I was 8 years ago, I did my A-level in psychology, okay? And in the book said it was bollocks. The book was take it with a grain of salt, okay? There's a lot of evidence to suggest this is not, empirical, okay? This is not a good take, Freud, okay? Freud, listen. So you just give up learning entirely. You just give up learning. As soon as you finish college, you give up learning. You don't stay up to date on anything? What? I don't understand. You didn't know that Freud's bullshit? A lot of his takes were bollocks? You hadn't figured that out or heard that at all ever. Like, that's been pretty much known since the cognitive approach became the most mainstream after, like, the 50s and 60s. So it ain't brand new information, okay? Like, you can agree with aspects of psychoanalysis, right? But almost, it is so widespread that the knowledge of, like, the idea of the fucking Oedipus and the Electra complex, the idea of that being, like, I don't want to say disproven, but there being, like, strong evidence against that, that's pretty self-evident and also based in the data. So I don't know how you can say that, like, that only came into fashion like a decade ago. Like, Jesus. I mean, we are... Psychology's moving fast because a lot's changed in a decade. If that was only a bloody decade ago. Jesus.
To be talking about these things, he needs to know what he's talking about.
Does he? It's Twitch.
Yes. If you are going,
what are you talking about? You can be on Twitch, and especially in an informal conversation. Again, let me remind you, it was informal. Neither one of us were claiming authority. In an informal conversation, where majority of it is us speculating on what could possibly be the reason for an abuser being the way that they are and doing the things that they do. Maybe it's not really important to me that he has this authority or has, you know, all of these facts in front of him. We're having a conversation about our feelings and about our history and about how we feel and why we are so fixated on a subject. That was the point of my interview. It wasn't to make some claim about the facts of sexual assault. The point of my interview was to get his history, to get his perspective, and get why he was fixated on it. Because I felt, looking at his videos, I understood why he was fixated on it. I felt like I understood because I've been fixated on things. And I get it. So no, I disagree. I don't think it's that important. That was the whole aim of my fucking interview. And us speculating on multiplying percentages and being wildly incorrect about how we're multiplying percentages is really not that important to me. What was important to me was relating on that level, on that human level.
You can't make up stuff like that. That is not appropriate to just be making up numbers. Like, on something as serious as this. Don't do it. Not good.
An advocate for pedophilia or pedophiles, essentially, right? He wants people to treat them better. He makes videos advocating that we should. He has a video called Pedophilia is Sick and Evil, where he very, very angrily talks about how people are not compassionate enough towards pedophiles. You know about this video, correct?
He's just an empath, guys.
So he considers himself an advocate for these things. And I also think that pedophiles are not sick, evil, disgusting, nasty monsters that need to be murdered. So I care about this. And he says, there's one line in this video of his where he says they should get therapy to work on the other problems in their life, right? So I'm sorry, you're not listening to me and smiling. It's distracting me.
No, I'm listening. I'm listening.
Okay. So he talks about like how we should have child sex robots or we should have like simulated child porn. And then he doesn't actually talk about the institutions and the studies that are shown that actually talk about things that help offenders. And then he comes on your stream and he says things like, I don't buy that. I know that's the narrative that rape isn't about sex. It's about power. Look. I don't buy that. I know that the narrative that rape isn't about sex. It's about power, but I don't buy that. I think
if anyone wants to see Gemma Collins memes. Look, it's me and Boris. This was me on Christmas. And this is me and Boris being the best of friends. It's not a threat. It's just a joke. It's just a joke, guys. Peace and love, peace and love. That's my brother and his girlfriend. And my bro. He really wore the turtleneck. And that's my living room. Looks very nice, doesn't it? It's very nice. Well, it's my parents' living room. I live here. Unfortunately for them. Oh, and here is my my auntie and uncle's dog. So cute. So cute. Anyway, go and follow me on Instagram, you know, guys. It's worth it, trust me. You get dog pictures and cat pictures. Wrong.
Think rape is. I think the main characterization is the main marker of rape is a lack of inhibition. I think everyone wants to rape other people. I don't think that one is weird at all. Everyone, and then also I quote, everyone wants to rape their own kid. Like, you didn't give him pushback on any of these statements. So he paints himself as this advocate for pedophiles' rights, but then he comes on your stream and he says things like this that are not true. This is not true. It's not true that people are sexually attracted to their children. We actually have studies. There's a in Germany, in Berlin, there is an institution that is doing a large amount of work with trying to rehabilitate pedophiles and trying to understand them, trying to understand the things that make them tick. He doesn't talk about any of this. He comes on your stream and it's entirely conjecture.
And he just makes shit up,
That was the point of it. That was the point of it. I feel like you're missing the point. What? The point of my interview
was for him to go on and just chat absolute bollocks, and you don't push back. How is that the point? Like, what? I can't. No, I can't. You're joking.
Let Stardust respond. Let Stardust go on.
Yeah, no, again, you seem to not be understanding that the point of my interview was not about going over facts and going over what exactly is what, okay? The point of my interview with him was, again, connecting on a human level, understanding why we're fixated on...
Did you really just say, are you gay? You gay. I'm a bisexual. I'm biflexual, debit credit, yeah. I've never walked up to someone and said, you gay.
On something. Gay? And in relating on that, yes, we may have been wrong about certain things, but it definitely was not the focus of it. The focus of our chat was specifically about him and his history and his emotions around that history. I feel like you're expecting this academic level of conversation from us, and that was not our intent at all. And anybody who knows my content knows
I think we got that, but I mean, I'm not saying anything. No, that's shady. I'm sorry. Fuck. Okay, no. That's shady. That's shady. Stop. Stupid.
If I were going to do that, I would indicate
that's
what we were doing. But that was not what we were doing. And he's not an advocate for... He's not really like a representative of doing pedophilia activism or whatever. It's just about not using this language that is so black and white, and he pretty much says this about everything, every issue. It's not about like advocating for one side or the other. It's just this black or white language that we're using for everything when we really shouldn't be. Everybody who is opposite of our views is not somebody who needs to be lined up on the wall, right? Everybody who has a different view from us is not somebody who's evil or a demon.
Yeah, I also agree with this. But this is not 200% the problem.
Gay.
My problem is not that he's like, oh, we shouldn't be horrible to people who think different things from us. That's not my problem. My problem is that these are really serious topics. This isn't just an intellectual exercise. This is we're talking about rape and pedophilia. These destroy people's lives. Like, this isn't like this fun, like, haha, let's talk about this. Of course. Is serious. And the conversation.
That's why we had a serious conversation about our emotions around it.
Okay.
You just said it wasn't a serious conversation, that it was all just like used to having a chat and it being chilled and not like pushing back on shit. You even admitted you kind of just made the stats up. Like, I don't get how you can say that's a serious conversation.
We seem to be having a disconnect here,
we are.
Because you seem to think that I'm going...
We're still talking about this, but I've been gone from the discourse and I only just came back. And here we are in hell. I'm so sorry. Thank you for the follow. Alex Jones was right. What a fucking great username.
To have this academic level conversation with him when I'm specifically I have stated several times that the point of the interview was not to have that type of conversation with him. It was to get his background and to get why he was dedicated to the subject, why he's so fixated on the subject and continues to bring it up. I'm not having that type of conversation with him at that moment in time. I don't think that you expecting that level expecting that level of poring over these studies is honestly productive to what I was trying to do there.
From 1,000 followers, okay? So if you're new around here, please do follow. We are getting closer and closer to the target of well, it was the target for 2021, but if we get it done tonight, I'm gonna keep streaming until we hit it, okay? You're not getting rid of me until I hit 2022? No, until I hit 1,000 followers.
I don't think that we are going to agree on this. I think that you have already moved the goalpost. Like what your initial problem was with people in my chat and empathizing with him and giving him affection. And now it's about how accurate our stats are. It's completely changed. So I don't get this. Your contention with me was never about the facts. It was never about the facts. It was always about the fact that I platformed.
The whole thing is about responsible platforming, and a big section of that is when you allow conjecture on your stream, you're platforming that conjecture, and you're not pointing out that it's conjecture and conjecture alone. You are co-opting that as it being fact. And you are buying into it by saying your own statistics and just guessing. And it's very dangerous when you're trying to have a conversation about a really serious topic. You shouldn't be making things up. That is the issue. And then for people to walk away from that, the people in your comment section or your chat or whatever, who are saying, yeah, I really like this guy, like, I get his points or whatever, like, they're going to go and seek out his opinion because you're co-opting it. That's where Merrick's issue lies with this. So it all feeds into the same problem that she has with the content.
Him and the fact that my chat was empathizing with him. So I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck what you have to say from now on, honestly, because it's dishonest. It's disingenuous.
Honestly disingenuous. It's not okay to have conversations. That is my point. It's not okay to legitimize someone who does not talk about pedophilia in a responsible way.
I think he does. And we're going to have to disagree with that. We're going to have to agree to disagree with that.
I don't know how you can think he does.
I don't think we're going to agree on this. I think this is a useless conversation because I honestly don't think that he's having a bad conversation on this. I don't think that he's irresponsible. I actually think that a lot of people, and I was not the only one in that chat, who felt that they related to him. I had other young people reaching out saying, I didn't realize
not a good thing.
That the way that adults were approaching me was inappropriate.
That doesn't make it okay.
Realize that the way I was feeling was valid. So thank you. And I don't give a fuck about what anybody has to say about me platforming it, because when I platformed him and I got those messages, I knew it was the right thing to do.
I'm sorry, what? No. Okay, again, I'm gonna fuck off. There's too much. No, again, Jesus, Lord, help me. Help me, Jesus. Dear God, give me the power. Oh, just because some people agree with you doesn't make the argument correct. I don't know what to say. How do you do this? Oh my God, no. This ain't it. Even Cleo's running away from this one. She's like, I'm embarrassed. Are you not embarrassed? Stance on cuties. Oh, Jesus. I think Jesus is long since logged off from Twitch. He did after this conversation. That's for fucking sure. He left the building. He like peaced out. He was like throw my deuces up or whatever. But like I'm a peace out because I don't need this shit. This is too much. It's stressing me out. He left. He took the will to live with him, and here we are.
This is a person that talks about pedophilia exclusively through conjecture and shames people that don't currently feel sympathetic to him. It's not effective. It's not going to get the results.
What is the rest of us doing online? What is the rest of Twitch left doing online? All they do is shame people for having this guy, for interacting with him. Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? That's all that the left does. That's all that Twitch, the left of. I don't get. I'm sorry.
This is not about the rest of the left.
Okay, yeah, but again, you're having this standard for me when everybody else online is doing the exact same thing over why.
Okay. I don't know what to do. I don't know. It's like the bar is so low. The bar, you don't even need to, you don't even really need to take your foot off the ground to get above it. Like, not excusing pedophilia was sort of on the bar is not even on it's not on a railing. It's just lying on the floor. You could shuffle over it, okay? Yeah, it's so easy. I don't get it. I think she's saying people disagreeing with him made it the right thing to do. How though? Stardust is coming from a perspective that hard topics make people uncomfortable and that discomfort is necessary for the conversation. to happen. I don't like the guy. I don't approve of what Stardust was doing there, but I'm trying to understand her perspective. Okay, listen, hear me out, right? Shit. Like, you can platform something and it be okay if it's a really shitty thing. You can platform it, but you have to responsibly platforming it. If you're engaging with somebody and letting them just use conjecture to justify their positions, and you're not engaging with them on any sort of like factual basis or pushing back on their takes, on very serious takes. This is not like you're just doing a thought experiment and there's no harm done. The guy's like literally saying he would roll the dice on consent because he takes excitement over whether something's rape or otherwise. Like, that is so sinister that to bring somebody on who said something like that to defend it is reprehensible. If you cannot challenge him, and then if you walk away from that and think, well, people agree with him, well, yeah, well, there's a lot of shitty people in the world, okay? There is. And there's a lot of fucked up people in the world. And that doesn't make it okay. I mean, what more can I say? Like, discomfort is hard. It's not easy to talk about some things. It isn't, okay? But this isn't talking about, like, rehabilitative justice or something, you know? Like, wait, what? There's shitty people? Like, you can talk about things to do with pedophilia even. You can talk about how we promote how we have like reform within the criminal justice system, how we support victims of sexual abuse, because we know that victims, there is a cycle of abuse where a lot of abusers have been victims of abuse themselves. So how we break that cycle, how we intervene early, what kind of therapeutic techniques and approaches we could use to deal with that trauma. We could talk about how we enable like a safer reintroduction into society after you've been through the punitive system. You can talk about all these things. These things are very difficult to talk about, okay? They are not easy conversations. And that's how you talk about something as difficult as that in a responsible way. This is the fucking opposite. The complete opposite. This is not it. This ain't it, Chief. Like, literally the 2020 meme of this ain't it, Chief. Was that 2019? I don't know. But, like, this is not the one.
Variety of views.
Not the
and I don't... They are.
Wait.
They are. And we're just going to have to disagree.
Look,
we're just going to have to agree to disagree.
Yeah, sorry. I just want to say, like, you know, I feel like we're kind of going seconds, and I feel like both of you are quite set in your positions.
Welcome to your own debate.
There's going to be any movement here, you know?
There's probably not going to be any movement, no.
Okay,
sure.
This is one of the last things I want to say. I think that it's really good that I want people to talk about pedophilia with stats and actual legitimate information. I want them to look at the people, the scientists, and the doctors. I don't have an issue with
talking about pedophilia as a concept. Like, if you want to talk about that and then talk about reformative justice, you want to talk about prevention. Like, there are so many things. Even safeguarding, things like that. What can be done in schools to, like, find signs of abuse, to, like, train up teachers and things like that. There is so much you can do to prevent harm coming to kids that, like, you don't even need to, like, stray down this path of whether something was rape or otherwise. Like, it doesn't even need to be about that. It can be about a totally different conversation. You can even have a conversation about consent and it be responsible. Like, I'm trying to think who's done this in the past for consent. I think Jo, philosopher, Australian woman that always gets confused with me from Prime. Thank you for the subscription. I appreciate it, Stardust. Like, that would make sense. She's argued against having what's it called? Like, explicit consent. That's what Jo's position is, and she makes a good argument of it. Like, that's fair. And you can talk about the benefits of... Go on then. like having a focus more on like, I don't know, education or things like that. It doesn't need to stray down this path. At the end of the day, I think the guy's a piece of shit. I think everything he stands for is reprehensible. And I think that it was just a prank lol. Defense is weak. And I'm not good with it. I'm not good. I'm not enjoying it. Like, charge for the queen, yeah, I know.
The therapists who are working with pedophiles. I think it's really good that I want to hold people to a really high standard.
It's great.
In a conversation about pedophilia.
There's a
sure. Actually, I think that's great. But when the point of my interview is not about that, the point of my interview is about his experience and his feelings and the reason why he is dedicated to these subjects. I don't give a fuck about what you have for a standard for me, okay? If I'm trying to have an academic conversation on pedophilia, I will have that conversation. I will have an academic conversation on it. But that is not what I was doing with him. What I was doing with him is getting into his head and getting into why he was dedicated to that topic. So you're completely off base.
The issue is, Stardust, you can do that. You can talk to somebody about their experiences exclusively outside of an academic perspective. But you need to challenge him. You need to be like, you think this way, and you've explained as to why you think this way, but the reasoning is off. Or you shouldn't think that way. You shouldn't use that thought process to do X, Y, and Z. That's where it changes up for me. Like, the two things, definitely the guy's content is not for everyone. Sis, I don't know what to tell you. Like, that content ain't for anyone. Like, I mean, people who don't fuck kids hate it. Jeez. Thank you, Supreme, for the follow. Welcome. What a time to join, Jesus. The guy's a disgrace. He is a disgrace to humanity. What else did Gemma Collins say? He does not have the vernacular to have a YouTube channel. But, like, I'm not a hardcore, like, deplatformer, but I do believe in responsible platforming. And unfortunately, around these kind of conversations that are extremely serious, like, I don't think you can really talk about your feelings only, and, like, you can get to know someone, like, don't get me wrong, you can get to know why someone thinks the way they do, but if you're not pushing back on why they think that way, then it is irresponsible. Moths to a flame when it comes to toxic train wrecks. Yeah, I won't be platforming Lauren Southern anytime soon, put it that way. That's another realm. Because I'm not out in the Atlantic, stopping ships with refugees on, because I've got a hobby. In fact, I'd actually rather sort the colour of different grains of sand than talk to Lauren Southern. Lauren Southern, someone said to me, Lauren Southern reminds them of the horse girl from your school. And she has horse girl energy. Like, that girl that just really wanted to talk about her horses? And that's, like, all she talked about? The issue is, when you're debating somebody, you're not necessarily talking about... oh, yeah, it was Tenflix. It was you who said that she's a fucking horse girl. You're not talking just to that person. You're not trying to change the person you're debating's mind. Their mind probably isn't going to change, realistically, within a debate. My mind hasn't really been changed within a debate, but you're talking to somebody's audience, and they're talking to your audience. So you need to make sure that anything they say, you check it before your audience consume it. And you have to, like, put presuppositions, if that's the word I'm looking for, whatever word I'm looking for there, on what they're saying, so that your audience doesn't walk away and just take what they're saying as verbatim. Otherwise, you're gonna have, like, bullshit disseminate into your audience. And the reason Merrick tweeted the screenshots to show, like, in chat, that people were like, yeah, this dude's cool, or this dude, like, I like his stuff, I like him, I like his points, is to show that he wasn't reasonably challenged enough as to change his mind on it, which is the issue here.
Trying to tell me how the fuck I run my fucking interview, and telling me that I can't platform this guy because you, by your standards, don't think that he is doing this responsibly.
Accusation.
I think that you're legitimizing someone who's talking about a very serious topic that a lot of people get hurt from. I think you're
a lot of people, including him. Okay, a lot of people, including him, a lot of people, and just because one person has experience, doesn't mean that they're a monolith for the entirety of every victim of pedophilia.
Right,
it's nothing to do with what I'm saying. That has nothing to do with what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I don't understand how I'm saying, listen, you are legitimizing someone who talks about a really serious subject that hurts a lot of people and ruins a lot of lives. He talks about it in a really bad way, and I don't think there's nuance. I think he makes a very sympathetic case for pedophiles. He doesn't talk about the people that continue to reoffend. He doesn't talk about the actual methods for which to help them. He talks about child sex robots and role playing with other adults. That's not seeking help. I think it's very irresponsible the way he presents it, and I think that you are legitimizing this person when you have casual, fun, friendly chats, and you don't push back on those things, and you don't bring it up. And I think that I have every right to find that disturbing.
Sure, you do. But I also have every right to not give your opinion any merit in my head. I think that yes, sometimes he says things that are very inflammatory, and he does that on purpose. And sometimes he says things to inflammatory to get attention and to then have a more nuanced conversation about those things. But I don't think that you have every right to say what you want. But again, I have every right to continue to do what I want. So I'm sorry. I think we're just going to have to disagree because I don't think that he's being irresponsible about it. I think sometimes his optics can use some work, can seriously use some work, and he knows that. But the
thing is, this goes so much deeper than just optics. Like, the dude's fucking awful. Like, it's not like he's presenting a good point badly. Like, he's presenting a fucking awful point terribly. Or actually, to be fair, he's presenting it very well in that a lot of people seem to be following him and going down with him and dying on the hill of him. So he's clearly very good with the PR and the fucking marketing techniques he's been using. But yeah, it's a shitty point. It doesn't make the point good. Put it that way.
Do not, I just don't agree. I think we're going to have to agree to disagree.
Okay. I don't know if we're going to get any further with that. I guess, I don't want it to end on like a really harsh note. Like, is there any conduct outside of this, like on Twitter, that you wanted to kind of smooth over or hash out or sort out or apologize for or not apologize for? I don't know.
No. I mean, I apologized if I inadvertently had people talk shit to her. I said that you should send me anything that you can tell came from me because I would like to personally tell them that I find that that's really irresponsible to ask them to not do that going forward.
Here's the thing. I honestly, I don't care. For me to hold you responsible for every person who comes after me because you made that tweet is just useless. It's not worth my time. And people are going to do what they want to do regardless of what you say to them, right? People, and you can't control everybody who follows you. I know that when a larger content creator tweets out something that there's going to be friends and fans who come after that person that is the center of that tweet. So I don't think I hold you responsible for that. I just think it's hypocritical to be saying that you're against mobbing when what you do essentially leads to mobbing. That's all. I really don't care about like the rest of that.
I think that there's a devastatingly significance of difference in degree between me going, hey, there is a very public platforming of this person that is currently happening that you yourself promoted and that everyone can see, and this is all happening very publicly. I don't know that this is a good thing. I don't think that I'm liking the way this is going, and a bunch of people telling Lindsay Ellis that she's a racist and should kill herself in white women's tears and all that. I think that these are very dramatically different, and I think that trying to conflate them as being the same thing and that somehow I'm...
Wait, what people were saying...
I don't know who Lindsay Ellis is, by the way. I have no idea. So that reference, phew, over the head. Not a fucking clue. Clearly an American, I'm guessing.
What do you think people are saying to me after your tweet?
I don't know, because I really have not seen anyone say anything negative to you.
Okay, so it's all that you're a pedo sympathizer, that you are, I've been called a pedo myself. Let's see.
You can prove to me that any of those came from me or my community.
I would never call anyone a nonce or a non-sympathizer. Actually, no, sorry, I set that joke up wrong. I was going to say I would never call anyone a pedo sympathizer, but I would call them a non-sympathizer because I refuse to use the P word. I'm going to use the nonce. Nonce is a British term, and I respect my fellow countrymen.
Or after my tweet, then I would love for you to please direct...
Again, mobbing is not necessarily your... See, here's the thing. Again, I don't...
You know
I can screenshot everything. I can send it to you.
But again, that's what we should do.
Find it useful. I just think it's hypocritical. Twitter. That's all. That you are saying this about other people mobbing when it's probably occurring under the same circumstances. The original person doing it is not necessarily intending for it to get that bad, but that's generally what happens.
I think that there's a world of difference between me not even explicitly saying that you're doing something and someone purposefully trying to call someone else out. Wasn't trying to call you out, didn't come.
You were just screenshotting my chat, that's all.
Yeah, the people in your chat saying positive things are not you. So I'm not coming to your throat.
It's my community. It's my community. You're coming for my community, you're coming for me.
Okay, so I don't even think...
Like, come on, she was doing that. Like, this is probably one of the only times I'm disagreeing with Merrick. I think Merrick was pretty obviously, like, screenshotting that shit to, like, prove a point that people are being swayed by him appearing on Stardust channel or whatever. Like, that's the point. Thank you for the follow, Ice King. How are you doing?
Think that these are bad people is the
Everyone
problem
is
here. Like
angry.
with Lindsay Ellis and me and Vosh and Destiny, the problem is that all these people talk about how they're evil and they're horrible and they essentialize them.
I think it's
cringe. They're this kind of person and they're that kind of person. I think that's very different than me being like, hey, this is a thing that's currently happening. I find it a little bit concerning. I think the degrees are so significant that to call me a hypocrite is a gross mischaracterization and an exaggeration. If you can say, hey, I think this inadvertently caused some problems for me, then yes, I will own that and I will try to make amends to you as best as I possibly can.
I don't need amends. You're missing my point.
It's about me doing the right thing. You say you don't, then that's fine. Then I need to make sure that this doesn't happen going forward from people that follow me. Because you might be able to take it, but how much of it can you take? And can other people going forward take it, right? So I don't want people to be harassed. It doesn't matter if right now in this moment you can take it. I have to do the right thing. So I'm okay with doing that. But I do think that it is a gross mischaracterization to say that it is hypocritical or comparable at all to me being like, hey, listen. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like it is mobbing to hold people to account. Like, I feel like that's... I don't know, like, there are people that fucking mob that literally just shit talk people and, like, use personal attacks. But I think if you're literally going at somebody because of a debate they've had, and you're criticizing them on like X, Y, and Z points, and then people agree with you, I don't think that's mobbing. I think you can call people out publicly when they're public figures and they are making decisions that are happening on a public platform like Twitter and on Twitch, where you are likely to influence the public. I think it is reasonable. I think it's fair to give fair and reasonable criticism, okay? Because you gotta hold everybody to account. That doesn't mean you get to say KYS, you fucking loser, you're a nonce on Twitter, but still.
Yeah, okay. I don't know if there's anything else really to discuss. Apologies.
You also like a lot of things that tend to be, targeting other content creators, so.
And you have not given a single example. I think you're probably talking about the tweet where someone was like, this man's tweeting while he's getting married. But,
there's also our Relevant, right? Our Relevant, a streamer.
Oh, laughing at the pedophilia thing? Yeah, I think it's okay to criticize that. I think it's definitely okay to criticize that.
Doing what?
That he's laughing?
At a joke about little girls' panties? Yeah, I think that's extraordinarily inappropriate. There's a time and place to actually say, hey, this behavior is inappropriate.
I didn't realize we were joke policing here too. So
about little girls' panties?
Yeah.
If there's one thing if not pedophilia, what's funny? Like, no, it's not a joke. I'm sorry, no, we can't do that. Well, it was racist, but it was a joke. I don't think noncing is a good joke for the FYI. Like, just joking about being a nonce is just weird. Maybe, like, improve your stand-up routine if that's what you've got to defer to for entertainment. But
people will make jokes about the worst aspects of their life, and I don't think it's anybody else's right to. Really.
Content points that you should watch. It's called The Darkness. There's a difference when people joke about the horrible things that have happened to them in the worst parts of their life, and when there's a grown man laughing at the idea of little girls' panties. These are completely different. It's not funny. Little girls hypothetical strip club is not funny. It's just not. I'm sorry. And it is also normalized.
Are jokes about like old people falling and needing help and needing to get back up, are those funny? Like the life alert, I've fallen and I can't get up. Are those funny?
I mean, if we had an epidemic of people pushing over old people, then no.
It's not even about pushing them over. We actually do have an epidemic. When people are older, especially older women, they have less likely to have their bone density actually gets less, right? And when they fall, they get fractures. So yes, actually, it's very serious when an older person, especially an older woman, falls. Excuse me, I'm going to finish my point. When an older woman falls and she breaks her hip, that's usually a really bad thing, and a lot of the time leads to death. And we still make jokes about it.
The context in which the little girl's panties thing was said was by a person who's confessed
I don't know what comparison that was.
And he was talking about a hypothetical strip club of little girl strippers, baby child strippers. And then when Vosh says he's uncomfortable with that, the guy goes, what color do you think their panties are? I think that this is pretty inappropriate given the context. There might be a context in which you can make a joke about little girls' panties that I would be like, okay, that's dark humor. I don't think that this context was appropriate, which is why I have a problem with it. Is there a context in which joking about old people could be really fucked up? Yeah, probably. Are there other contexts in which joking about them falling is funny? Yes, probably. But the context that we had here, I don't think that it was appropriate, especially from a person who is sympathizing and normalizing, sympathizing with pedophilia without offering any comprehensive solutions for people who feel sexually attracted to children.
Okay, so I think that's wrong, because he has said they need to not work around children, they need to not be around children, they need to go seek help. Secondly, that's it's wrong again, because while I think Vosh had every right to leave the call, I also think that we can't control people's conversations and what they make jokes about. And then thirdly, I would say that if all of this was really that big of an issue, why wouldn't you just take it up with Vosh, who's the one who put up the video in the first place?
Devosh, I'm in a group chat with him, and I've said that I don't think that it was okay.
Okay, but to put the video up, to keep the video up,
specifically. I don't think it should still be up.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
I need to watch the Vosh debate.
Yeah, I think there's just some fundamental disagreements.
Hold on, I have one last thing I need to say, because this is pretty important. It's one of my key problems here. You said that he said that they need to seek help. He has one video on his YouTube channel about pedophilia where it's 1 second. It's one passing line where he says that they need to get therapy to help the other problems in their life. And the rest of the video talks about how they need to find an adult to role play their fetishes with, how we need to have child sex robots, and how there needs to be simulated child porn. These are things that we don't have really good data and information about the efficacy of, and it's highly irresponsible to present that. So this comes back to well, he said that they need to get therapy in one passing line in a video that primarily focuses on how everyone is attracted to children and how we need to have sex dolls and child porn. So I don't want you to be able to just say that and have it hang, and people think that he's this great advocator of therapy.
So, right, when he has conversations with other people, though, he still makes the point that people should get therapy, that people should not be working around.
He doesn't upload those conversations on his channel.
Let's let Stardust respond.
It still matters. It doesn't matter if he uploads them. He has those conversations on face to face with other people.
And what you're gonna do is that your audience is gonna see your conversation with him, and then they're gonna go look at his other content, and all of that content doesn't include this advocacy for seeking help. So they're not gonna take that message away, even if it's said in the initial interview. That's the problem.
He says that they need to get therapy.
You are growing his YouTube channel. You are going to allow the algorithm to boost it when you and all of the people around you normalize having him on and presenting him. So other people that don't come from your communities will start subbing to his YouTube channel, and they won't see any of that because he doesn't upload the content.
So here's the difference in opinion that we have, Merrick. The difference in opinion that we've already established is that you think that he is irresponsible about the way that he does his videos. I think he's very witty, and I think he's very smart, and he puts a lot of production quality, and he puts a lot of effort into his videos. And I think
production quality is one thing, but nonsense is another. You can do high quality, you can nonsense HD, it doesn't make it any bloody better. What? I don't care about the production value, that doesn't make it any better to me. I don't even know where to start with that take.
Hard conversations that he's having. I don't think we're going to agree on this. Geez. I've already said this 5 times. So.
I just want you to be able to lie and say, he advocates for therapy constantly because it's not on his YouTube channel.
Well, it doesn't matter if it's on his YouTube. When every single time he has a serious conversation with somebody and he's not joking, he does advocate for therapy.
Yes, what you put on your YouTube channel as you're blowing up absolutely matters. Yes, it does matter.
Yes, a lot of those videos are several years old, and he does advocate for therapy. I don't know where you're getting that he doesn't advocate for therapy.
It is one passing line in his video about pedophiles, and the rest of the video is about child porn and sex robots. So no, this is not the character.
All of his fans are saying that he does advocate for therapy. So I don't know.
I wonder why. There is fans. They're his fans. Of course they're going to say that. They're not going to be like, yeah, you don't need to talk about
because the vast majority of his content is what matters here. And when the message that you send over and over and over and over again is one thing, and you occasionally slip maybe another different message in otherwise, that's still not acceptable when we are talking about something as serious as raping children, as being attracted to children. There is a responsible way to handle this discussion, and it's not every once in a while being like, oh yeah, and maybe therapy, but never actually talking about the real
therapy. Okay, so he's you know, proposing things that are like what's it called, non-conventional, sure, but when he has a conversation with people about
let Merrick respond. Sorry, let Stardust respond. Stardust, go.
She's been interrupting me this entire time.
Because when you go on, Merrick, you talk for 10 minutes. It's not one point. It's never one point. You talk for 10 minutes, and you don't seem to get it through your head that I agree to disagree. We are not going to move our positions. You are going to stay on your position, and I'm going to stay on mine. Well, there's no winning in this. This is a lose-lose situation, Merrick. We're both losing here. We're wasting our time. Okay, again, I would say that every time he has a serious conversation with somebody else and it's about like real life solutions right here and right now, it is about getting therapy and staying the fuck away from children.
Well, I wish that he would actually put that on his YouTube channel, and he doesn't put the conversations that he has on his YouTube channel, so none of his audience sees that. I wish that he would do that. That would be one step towards better and slightly responsible advocacy. I don't think that there's anything else.
Though. You yourself admitted that he does.
It's 1 second of one line in an entire video. That is not enough. That's not
1 second of one line? That's not enough?
No!
No!
I'm talking about
what is enough for you?
But, okay, I can't, nah, you can't, you're gonna be taking the piss. So am, man. You think 1 second's enough? Oh, all of his content. Let's see, how much has he uploaded? Let's have a look. I don't wanna, let me have a look. How much content does this lad upload? Right. That's a lot of content. Keeps going. Keep going. Okay, baby. Look at all this content. 1 second, one video, one line. Is it enough? No, baby. It is not enough. Look at all those videos. And he couldn't think to put it anywhere else. That's suspicious. That's weird.
What would be enough for you? Give me a specific number.
This is not how this works. I don't know a specific number of times in which you need to say, hey, you need to go get therapy, but there is a program out of Berlin. Let me see, I can look it up right here. It's called the Prevention Project from Dunkelfeld. You could start by talking about that. You could start by looking at any of the evidence.
And you're expecting an academic conversation when I don't have those types of, unless I'm in a debate with somebody, I am not doing those types of conversations.
I'm talking about his YouTube channel.
Okay.
I'm talking about his YouTube videos. He is a terrible advocate because he doesn't talk about any real world anything. He wags his fucking finger at people and goes, oh, you don't like pedophiles? You're the biggest pedophile in the room if you say you're not a pedophile. This is terrible advocacy. This is not how you change hearts. This is not how you change minds.
I don't think he says that. I think that's a straw man.
I will literally send you the clip when this is over.
Okay, sure. Again, but what I would say is that he's said plenty of times that pedophiles need to stay the fuck away from children. He's said plenty of times that it's not about it. It's not, and he hasn't said that it's specifically saying I'm not one of those that makes you a pedophile. It's the knee-jerk reaction that people have about we need to lynch them all. You know, that makes him suspicious.
Making scary videos where he talks about how he's sexually attracted to children and he thinks everyone else is in response to that is not a good way to go about it.
Okay.
Responsible advocacy, and we're just talking in circles. Like, there's really no point.
Well, I've been trying to end this conversation forever, but
okay.
Yeah.
So first of all, I think we'll go around in circles. I don't know if we're going to agree anywhere. I don't think there's any real points of agreement. Unfortunately, I'm sorry this didn't become more of a friendly conversation. I just want to say, Stardust. Obviously, you mentioned me in the course of that there. You're right. I should have watched your conversation, provided a conversation with you about it. I totally agree with that. I was a bit flippant when you said it to me because I was just on the spot, but I should have watched it before I spoke to you, and I apologise for that. And yeah, I just thought it would be an interesting conversation nonetheless to put some of the criticisms to you, but I should have watched it before I spoke to you.
Well, I think that summarises that debate. I mean, a bit of a fucking shit show. I feel like I watched a murder in HD. Merrick definitely slayed. I don't know, I think Stardust will be sending her the hospital bill, because you're in America, so you gotta pay it, fucking Americans. But it was wild. That was